Hey guys, I think we're live. I'm running out of storage space, so I'm recording locally. I hope the music is not too loud. I don't want this to get any strikes or anything like that. But I'm in a music mood. So we're gonna be listening to music, or at least I will be during all of this. How's everybody doing? Back again. Got a lot to talk about, but again, the downloads, they come in as they come in, and we do what we can to articulate them as best as we can through every vessel that we have to engage with. And I apologize, I got my window open, so we got I don't know if I mentioned, but we got a Santa Claus trying to get through the window decoration. So I actually can't shut the window, but I keep it open like all seasons, no matter what, um, all day long if I'm home, obviously. So, anyways, we're going to talk about connections. And I don't know why. Once again, they give me the topic as soon as I'm like ready to just jump on. It's like, are we going live? Well, I don't know. Are we? Well, is there something to talk about? Well, there's always something to talk about. Guess what we're going to talk about today? And it's like, well, we could talk about a lot of things. And then usually like 10 minutes before I decide, or it'll just hit me, and then I just got to come live. So it's funny. So we'll see what they have to say. I'm going to pull cards. Sunday session, we do cards for the week coming up. So hopefully they'll help with you guys and any guidance that you might need. But I wanted to talk about the connections because there's so many. I've talked about a lot of this before in different ways, and essentially everything is just rinse and repeat the same principles that guide creation. While there's connections with everything and everything is connected, that's why it's crucially important for everybody to remember that you're the center of everything that you're here to create and everything you're here to experience. So, we talked about in the last episode, right, that the double slit theory. Dude, I don't know if we talked much about it. I had so much coming through, but this double slit experiment showed that by observation, that through observation, by observing something, it makes it physical, right? And so, I mean, mind blowing type of observation. The experiment doesn't work unless somebody's watching. So it really changes the game. And I think there's a lot of things that just everybody is really trying to naturally, I want to say cling to what they know, right? And so that's kind of how we move forward. It's how anybody moves forward. One step forward, or two steps forward, one step back, two steps forward, one step back. Like whatever. It's all just the up and down. And I think one thing that is challenging everyone, and one thing that people might not be used to doing, is actually seeking within themselves for the answers. When we're just constantly looking outside of us, right? And so if everything is coming at you, um, you know, what are you connected to? But not in a negative way, not in a positive way, not thinking of it like, well, I'm manifesting in my life, these things and whatever, and this and that. Sometimes it's just what you're there for, and it's what you're there to see. This whole venture, this whole journey onto Earth. It's why what are you doing, camera? I'm right here. The color's all weird. Look at it now. It changes colors. It's like blue. My hand there. Now it's gonna go back to red. I don't know what this camera's doing. But it's important to hey, one love, bro. Be Ray. What's up, man? Yeah, for sure. Um, the connections, man. It's like everybody wants the connections, but we demonize everything. That's why we got to stop judging. Say these things a lot on the show, but it's the concept that there's always somebody that likes what you like too, and then there's somebody who doesn't like what you like too. And so all of this, like growing out of things or learning to trust yourself or believe in yourself, all this stuff stems from like just scary, negative, thinking types of stuff where, it's all about being yourself and all this, and everybody says that all the time, but then somebody, right? And then it's not until you get older until you realize there's tons of people out there that totally get, what you're saying, and then there's still going to be tons of people who don't. And so we have to start looking at what this is illustrating, to people. Like, so a lot of these predictions, and a lot of people who are predicting this, predicting that, a lot of it's just like, look at it, look at the history, look at what's happening, look at what people are doing, right? Like I say all the time, no wonder the world's in the place that it is. Like, anybody? So, like, I barely know all of it, but I know enough of the history and the truth, and like, to at least say, oh, that's how we got here. What I mean? Not to pick on anybody, but that makes sense, and that's the illusion of like this magical thing outside of all of us that we can't tap into. Now, don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's hard at first to tap into, if you will, your higher vibrations and things like this, right? Because you're not vibrating there, right? So, but understanding the link between the mind and the body, how the mind can sugar pill, placebo, like take a nod and then still heal the body, right? So the mind has to be clear and thinking in the right way. So, they call it mental health. They call all these things that they're trying to control it in that system. And like, they're really trying to help. No, they're not. They're just jacking people up with pills and then telling them that, well, how do you feel and what's wrong with you? And the reality is, like it's not a complex, and it never was a complex, is what I'm trying to get to, right? And you grow up and you find more people like, yourself or whatever, and things like this. But like I said, it illustrates the disconnect. It illustrates the fact that, a lot of people say, oh yeah, I believe in, unity and freedom and this and that. But then as soon as, non-freedom comes at your door, it's like, well, am I going to be safe? It's like, we got to stop compromising. And that's the whole idea, that we're here for a reason. You're here for a reason that goes so far beyond like anything that you could ever imagine. Like, that's why there's so much of it to go through. Yeah, it's misdiagnosed energy. Exactly. Like, I like that you said it that way, because then, I always talk about traditional Chinese medicine, Taoist, Kung Fu, all that stuff, right? Whatever. But, and you look at the way they do it, and they check the whole body. They check, when we go to the doctor in the West, it's like, oh, hey, doc, my side's hurting or something, or my butt, right? What's going on? And then they're going to scan it. They're going to look at it. They're going to, what's wrong with that part of them there? But they're not like, what is causing that to happen within the whole being, vessel, physicality, everything. So they ask you stuff like that, like, what's your lifestyle like? Are you stressed out? Are you this and that, for everything that happens? And that's the way to go about it. So a lot of this stuff is just half of what it truly is in most cases, and again, it gets easier as everybody understands to get out of the matrix, what most of you guys know. I think I said that in my last video, where I was trying not to say it in a ego way, but where I feel like I'm here to talk to us, family, the soul tribe, the ones who are awake, and I said lead, you know what I mean, right? And I mean that because like everything I talk about, it's like it has to do with that. Like, it's not easy for people who don't get it to understand, right? A lot of what we say. And so we're really here to combine ourselves together energetically and then strengthen ourselves, and help is like how any system would work, and getting stronger and getting this information out there. Because one thing you'll find is you're going to get, which we all know, we're going to get all the kickback, just like life. Like, life will always kick back whatever it is that you do. It's going to kick back good on it. It's going to kick back bad on it. And it's up to you to utilize that, right? Like they say, even the negative experiences are here for you to utilize. And if you do something about them, or you change something, or you whatever, then those situations no longer become negative or stick around as negativity, right? Because you've faced the fear or the negative, oh, can't this, can't that, right? The lack limitation, so the concept that, like I've said before, you got to get into your life, because that you're what is missing from it, which is why it doesn't work or whatever, right? It'll work once you put yourself in there and you start doing things and you start making it work and you're moving along, and then everything isn't as scary. And then you realize how powerful you are. All of this is about realizing how powerful we are and who we truly are and what we truly are as beings. And it's so much more immense than anything that any science has ever even come close to understanding, or any spiritual person has come close to coming, because we don't know. Like, if we're in the physical, all we can do is have as many of the higher vibrational experiences as we can, but we're still not even, getting close to a lot of the stuff, but and I think that's where, I always talk about science and then, religion, or, the differences. That's where the disconnect comes from. It's the concept of like, there's only this one way, because a lot of what anything is you spend your whole life figuring it out. And then now all of a sudden you got to change that. I shouted out Neil deGrasse Tyson on my last one too. Right. And I didn't think I mentioned this part of it, but he's talking about how it's a simulation world. Like, if we can make computer games and stuff where, they're having dialogues and they're having to eat food to live and drink water so they don't die, like survival game, whatever kind of game, well, who's to say that's not exactly what's happening here? And once you understand Tesla frequency, if you want to understand the universe, think of it as energy, frequency, and vibration. So then you understand that there's energy, frequency, vibration for everything. And that's all that anything is. And the difference is what's organic and biological and actually life itself versus a perceived construction based on the tools and the technology, right? So this is where, like, technology, it's not so bad, but it can be used to mess with organic beings. It could be bad. And so what Neil was saying, but it's not, the point wasn't about this simulation, but it was cool the way he put it, because he said, so essentially, if that's what's happening, we're creating new worlds. What does any creator do? I'm paraphrasing, but he's saying, chances are it's 50-50 that either we're the creators of it because we're now just starting to figure it out. So we're becoming the creators and we're stepping into that role, or we're already like in the simulation, and then again, and it was cool because he's scientist, so there's a lot more we could delve into on that in the, energetic and the gnosis realms. But what I liked about what he said was, it was funny because he said there's some, not it started with a B, it's some kind of scientific theory, right? And so they said it was a theory, and he's like, and the theory states that you can interject information into something, if it, and then see how it changes the, hypothesis, changes your result. And I'm just like, you have a named after some famous dude theory on adding more information and then figuring out something new? What are you even talking about? Like, how is that has anything to do with somebody's name? Like, who patented that shit? Like, who patented, like, oh, well, if I go scuba diving and I'm going to learn more about with water in the ocean, like, oh, go figure. Who knew that would have happened, right? So, but what he's saying for science is, what it means is, so if you have like a model that makes sense, right? Like 1 + 1 is 2, that's it. They know it, right? We know that, okay, in math, whatever we're doing. So if you add this, then what happens? And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, isn't that literally what all of science is doing? Like, isn't that what all people everywhere, isn't it the whole point is to know what we know and then add different variables and then see if something new happens? Like, there's a theory, this is called the scientific theory, like it starts with a B, a Benzonian theory or something, I don't know, and I was just cracking up because I'm just like, dude, like, that's when people are believing too much in the, like, whatever it is they have to believe in, right? Like, shout out the lady who passed away watching Passion of the Christ at the crucifixion scene. Shout out, rest in peace. What did you think a crucifixion was? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all these people want to know. So I imagine she's followed Jesus her whole life, and she never considered, like, it makes me wonder how many people are just adding to their story that they want to believe in, right? Like, I was talking with, science type people, if you will, they're very, believe this, believe that, or, because they've proved it, and they have proof. But science itself says we can only see 4% or experience 4% of the known universe. So, like, anything that they think they know, it's like, I'm not saying you don't know it and you haven't figured out the formula, because there's a lot of things we do know. We know how to fly planes, right? That's math and science and engineering. It's great, but it's like, 4%. That means there's 96% of the universe that we still can't even, we don't even know. We don't even know, right? So the whole concept that, there's this separation as if like, science isn't trying to figure out how life works, and spiritual people aren't trying to figure out how life works, So the common denominator is the people. It's you. It's the people that are like judging everything, or it's the people that are like, it's these connections that people aren't making, and I don't know why they don't make them. Like I've been making them my whole life, so for me, it drives me crazy. As a kid, because I see them all the time. Like you don't see how it's just because it's a religion over there and then you got science over here. Yeah, both people are just believing what they're believing based off whatever evidence they got that they consider is evidence. Like what point do we realize what we're doing here, people, And I love it because that's part of the challenge, right? We came here. That's what I was saying earlier. What we're here to do, there's a reason why it's not all hunky dory. There's a reason why, for a majority of people, right? Like, or even people who are rich, right? They're not all happy. There's something going on in our world, and we have to fight for our right to party. Beastie Boys, right? Change the song. It's like, and that's what a lot of people need to know and remember. A lot of people on the path, you need to realize that you're here to fight. Remember when they said that we sent the strongest of us here to do this? You got to fight for what you believe in, and again, not fighting, right? Obviously not, no violence, no nothing like that, right? But it's one of those things like don't get distraught if it's not working out. It's kind of not supposed to be. It's all set up so that it doesn't work out, and so you got to keep going. You got to have unrelenting fearlessness about who you are and why you're here, no matter what anybody else has to say about that. I don't care how many badges you got on your jet. Like, oh, what's the yellow one mean? Nobody cares, like we're still living in this world. Like, I don't know, it's weird, all that stuff to me anyways, but so connections, what are you guys saying? Things you thought bad turned out to be a blessing. Yeah, nice. Use that to stay calm when stuff gets intense. Yo, homies, what's happening, y'all? What, Kirst, you always remind me every time you say that, the gold mist, the person. Have you guys seen what was it? Not groundhogs. I want to say groundhog because I'm used to saying groundhog. Chipmunks, the Chipmunks movie, the first one, with David Cross. He's a comedian, but he's the bald headed. He's got glasses. He played the bad guy. And there was the one scene when he was walking, I think they're in like New York or New Jersey. They're in like some city, I think it took place or whatever. And he's walking down the street and it's cold. So the heat vent from the street is, just bellows of, smoke being, vapor. And so he like walks through it and he's like, I'm emerging from the smoke, like a mysterious evil villain. And I started busting a gut because I freaking loved that. Like he's in his imagination as a supervillain. Like it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. So anytime like anybody talks about like poof and mist, I see poof, like, and I think he had his like cape on and he's like, I am emerging from the smoke. I can't remember the scene, but so every time when you said that last time, I had that memory and I just did it again. I love that. You're the mist and the villain as I emerging from the mist. You have to look it up on YouTube. Like I totally want to look it up and play it real quick right now. But it's so funny. Because even the villains really, they just want to play, and half of that stuff too, the villain people, it's like, I mean, they tried to say Martin Luther King was a villain. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to grandpops. My grandpops still feels that way too. like, and in the sense where he's like, well, he created a lot of riots, and then I'm like, well, yeah, because people got inspired and, so I mean, yeah, but it's like there's all different reasons, and people are making these connections and then tying them into this, because once again, are you aware that you're in control of your life? Most people aren't. Most people are like, oh, it just happens to me, and then this and this, or whatnot, and people got to get past that. It's hard to believe, right? Because it's not all hunky dory all the time. And then the more you realize these things, the more research you do, the more self-reflection you do, the more outer reflection, inner reflection, you realize what's happening and what's going on. And we're here and we're fighting a war. And we get to fight it from the relative comfort of our homes, at least, right? Depends where we live, who we're living with, whatever, right? It's all different, and it'll change all throughout our life. But it's like, we're all. That's why it gets confusing, and that's why, all this stuff. Because I've shared this with you guys millions of times on the show, where it's like, what's going on? Why aren't we more powerful? Why this? Why that? Why, you know what I mean? I ask all the questions, right? And so until humanity can maintain their consciousness, not consciousness, in a positive way, right? It's not gonna reflect in the reality. And this is what, because I've said to him before, like, so you guys aren't going to show up because you're afraid of what we might do. Like, well, so where's all this great help coming from? Who's doing what, right? There's too many, blah, 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 blah. And so the connections between them all, if we're chasing them all, right, it might be connected, we might figure it out, but what does it mean now that we know that, like I'm a Pleiadian, or I'm a this, or they did this in this war 30,000 years, and then this, and then that, and then that, and then this, and then that, and then that, and it's just, it's like, so what are we doing now, guys? So does that mean that there's been wars that we all know about? Galactic war, like, a lot of more people now are starting to know about. Okay, well, what happened with those? I mean, look at us here right now. So we should all know and have the awareness of what's really going on down here. I think the trouble, right, is when you try to connect. Not when you try to connect. It's just a lack of connection. It's a lack of awareness of being able to see how and why things are happening. That's what people are missing, It's like George Carlin said, question everything, right? Shout out George Carlin, right? Because I've been doing that my whole life, and it's interesting to me that everybody wants freedom and a better life, but we're still dealing with racism and sexism and all the isms, So that's why I said earlier, like, people say they want freedom, they want this and that, but they're literally supporting, a side, and so all of this stuff coming down, all of this stuff healing, all this stuff coming back online, changing, updating, whatever, right, literally has everything to do with you, more than you guys know, being the ones. So like I say, keep your vibration high, because then you can face the things, right? The only time we don't want to face the day or the whatever is if we're hungover. You know what I mean? Whatever. That's a good example. Like, if you've ever been hungover, like, you don't want to do anything the next day. You can't do anything the next day, right? Depending on how bad you got. Or even if you don't sleep, enough hours or something. No sleep till. Look at that. You just knew it. They knew timing is everything. Let's go to the next one. What was I saying? That's why we get crabby. It's like I said, mind, body, the connection, right? Our body's always telling us, and then what do we do with it? We do it anyways, right? Because our minds are like, no, I need to do. So then it's creating a disconnection between the body and the mind. So your mind is saying, now you always want to tell your mind, like, you have to be naively believing in all of it and believing in yourself, like it's the truth is here. I do live in paradise. I just, it's not I'm not recognizing it. You know what I mean? Like, because you live there already. It's a place that you live in, because it's within you that you find that place. And there's a light that you have that you can bring, that you can't explain to anybody. You just bring it. I mean, we could all try to explain, right? But we all have that spark within us. So we all come from a wonderfully united place. And that's what a lot of this just gets lost in translation, because when we say things like that, like in the physical, rational, common sense, practical person will say, well, what do you mean we're there? We're not there. We're, like, how am I there when I'm right here and I'm in this body, and this and that and this and that, right? And so what it is it's a realization that there's 96% more, right, that we're not even like mostly aware of. And the more aware of that other stuff you become, you realize that you don't, right, we exist in multiple places. We exist, people want to say, oh, you're talking to angels, beings, whatever, but, or I've said it on the show before, they are not physical, so they don't talk with voice boxes. So how are you supposed to hear what your ancestors or what other energies or anything is saying around you? You have to listen to the energy on the inside of yourself and see how it affects your body and your mind and your system. This is what Neigong is, right? There's Qigong and there's Neigong. Neigong is the internal practices where you just sit there and you do everything with your mind. You move all the qi through your whole body, wherever you want to move it, whatever you want to do, just with your mind, and you don't engage the body at all. And that's one of the most powerful things you can train your mind to be able to do. And all of it has to do with slowing down and just relaxing. You know what I mean? But most people are getting riled up and getting triggered and getting, this and that. And I said this before, if you get triggered, but don't go blow up everything. But, like, it's like if we saw a puppy get hurt, like a human hurt a puppy, like on purpose, like that's going to trigger me. I'm sorry. At what point do I engage in life versus just let it happen because it's supposed to happen, So the whole, it's not working out because I didn't do this or we didn't do that, or it's supposed to work like this or it's supposed to work like that. That's the trap, because then what everybody does is they make something to make it work so that we can feel safe. It's the illusion that we're not safe. It's the illusion of, like the news, right? Or, like my mom's, shout out moms, love her to death. It's like, there was a time when I was like, you got to stop watching this stuff because she's so worried about everything. Like she doesn't want to go outside late at night, because there's roaming wolves out there that are gonna catch all of us, And again, sure, like it's a guy, girl, you got your girl, you take the garbage out at night as the guy, like stuff like this. I get it, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of fear, man, that lives in this world, that everyone is trapped. We're all doing things trying to hide from fear, and there's a difference between that, because there's danger and then there's fear. Right. And so that's a difference. And when there's danger, if you're prepared, you don't fear it, like a rattlesnake. But, if it's me walking down, I'm going to freak out, but if it's a professional snake handler, that they just say, oh yeah, be careful. It's dangerous, but I'm going to go pick them up, whatever they're going to do. I'm going to take them home and bring them raise them as a pet, feed them mice, stuff like that. It's just like, and that's what makes life amazing. Like we're like the connections. It's all about the connections and what's happening. Everybody's mad. Everybody's upset. Right? We're all feeling all these energies. All this life can be tough, and it's all because we don't have the connections with each other. Right? It's all because you said something and then it got censored on social media, or you said something and somebody you don't like got mad, and then said. Meanwhile, there's a whole crew out here that will believe all you got to say and can't wait to hear what you got to say. So it's all from it's all an illusion, man. It's all an illusion. That's why I just got to keep making shows and keep talking about this stuff because we got to talk about every single aspect of it. And there's just going to be some people who who don't want to understand it, who won't this, right? Because like I said, with the science and the what is that called? Like the creational theory, or not creational. It's like it's not spiritual creation, conscious creation. There's a lot of people saying Darwinism, well, that's survival of the fittest. Hold on. What I'm talking about is like we grew from amoebas, evolution. Thank you. Right. Like obviously we're always evolving. Evolution is still here. But if you're going to say that, like, we evolved from amoebas, you know what I mean? And then there was a Big Bang, and we all came from the little particles in the Big Bang. And like, well, then, okay, then, but it's the chicken and the egg. What came first? You know what I mean? What made the Big Bang? What was here before the Big Bang? So saying the Big Bang created all this stuff implies that there was something different that was there before the Big Bang. Or are we going to say there was nothing there? But obviously nothing couldn't have been what was there because there was a singularity. There was a Big Bang about to happen. So who's doing what? Who's this, right? And so that's the issue, is people need to understand, and they're not comfortable with not knowing, right? That's why I like the Taoism, and I talk about it all the time. They say, so there's yin and yang, and then all the elements, right? That the yin and yang polarities are always playing, right? And then the materium that they created, right? Mom and dad are playing and they're dancing, right? And they're singing and they're expressing themselves, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're getting hot, they're getting cold, they're getting cold, they're getting hot, right? Because the yin was in the yang was in the yin, right? So it's all varying degrees, and it's all this, and that creates the millions of things with the elements, the 5 phases, and then you get into the Bagua and you do all this stuff like that. And so, and then they go up to the point where, well, what came before the polarity? We all know we live in a polarized, place, whatever, physicality, whatever dimension, density, but what's beyond that? And they've been meditating for thousands of years, and they don't know. And I think that's probably the best answer that we'll ever get, no matter how many experts want to try to get a better answer, because I love that feeling. I almost love that I don't have to know, that all I need to know is what I feel every single moment of my life, every single day. And all I need to do is focus on that, and how to be love, and how to do this. And you know what I mean? Instead of worrying about how it all worked, as if we have to even know. Now we got to know how to heal the body. We need to know how to do these things. We need to know a lot of stuff, right? Like I would say, it's hard talking about this stuff because, even when I talk about it, I know and I can sense, right? And that there's so many people that will get lost in what I'm saying, when the reality is like, that's just because the limitation of their own minds allowing them or not allowing them, and again, because people get triggered, they get offended by the things we say. They get mad. They get, how can you prove that, and this and this, and then we can't explain it to them any other way, because there's no scientific thing saying, well, this is real spirituality, you know what I mean? Like, it'll never exist. So anybody who doesn't believe in spirituality, or it's like, you're never going to find it in a science book. You're never going to find it. You're going to find it in life itself right now. You're going to find it within yourself. You're going to find it in the energy that courses through your veins, and only 4%, we're only seeing 4. So saying we came from amoebas, so we were at 1%, then we got to 2%, then we got to 3%, then we got to 4%. We got a long way to go. This boat's just getting, I don't even think we got the training wheels off. Not even close, right? Hey, shout out. Yeah, training wheels still on, right? I know. Nobody, the very few people don't have training wheels. We all have some sort of protection mechanism, and that's a better way of putting it. Yeah, self-protecting so you don't blow yourself up mechanism, right? That type of stuff, that's what it is, right? And there's the whole game, right? Again, it's a chess. We're playing chess on a galactic scale, on an epic, universal, multidimensional scale. We're playing chess, guys. Because think about it. They say, well, people went beings came back to the point where the universe changed because there's so much bad going on, so we had to change it. Well, it just changes time altogether. What is time? What is this? Was that? And again, I that's why I say I'm always here picking on people, but it's that's not the intention, right? But we don't have another way of talking about it. So until we all get up to the things that I've been saying, where we get over what everybody says, where we get over feeling judged and judging other people and worrying if somebody says something different, and we all got to be able to speak our minds again. Kiddos run around and they say the wildest things, but we let them go because they're kids. Well, what's the difference between that? Any kid who's grown up like you, right? What's the difference? What happened? What changed within your being that all of a sudden we don't have imaginations anymore? This stuff doesn't make sense, but you're supposed to be like this, right? Connections. It's right in front of our faces, right? Even the religions. So I don't like, the religions, because they're just control sets, systems. That's all they are, of a certain way. Meanwhile, there's kamikaze guys going to heaven with 40 versions, and then on this side, there's, people who will never kamikaze because then they go to hell. It doesn't, how long does that take? To sink in for people. Shout out to everybody who's religious. I got nothing against them. You know what I mean? But it's like I say, the poor are the quickest ones to find Jesus and find God and find religion, because they need something, and then this is not a happy topic, but we all can use some faith that and this type, it's good stuff, but it happens to everybody in every single thing, no matter what, like in every aspect of the, whether you're, and this is why I've talked about the high school thing with the groups and the cliques. We all know that's a good reference, right? Where it's like everybody gets separated or separates themselves. They didn't want to be, but it happens. And like me, I was in the quote outcasts, if you will, the partiers, whatever. But that was because I didn't even agree with them. Agree, you know what I mean? It's just, that's where I hung out because it was a better place than all these weird school extracurricular activities that I didn't care about. Do I want to play basketball or baseball? Sure, but I'd rather just get a bunch of guys and go to the Sandlot and then just go jam it out. I don't need the the scheduling rigorous, the coming in before school practice and then after the practice and all, because we're trying to be number one and be the greatest, and then whoever wins gets the subsidies, so it becomes the best school. So then obviously everybody's trying to win, and then your teachers just want you, it's just stop being fun. We started having fun, and I was talking with Spirit last night or something too, and I was just like, I don't know how to have fun anymore. And I said it to bring up the topic, because it's one of those things where I've had fun my whole life. I love to laugh right all the time, and I try my best. But then there's something that happened where it's the way some people have fun. I don't have fun like that. I don't. So what are we here to bring to the world? Because essentially, if we're just loving and giving love and giving light and just letting anybody run around amok, well, then we're just enabling things, So this is where it's kind of we get to put our foot down, but we don't have anything concrete to really do it with. But that's what gives it its strength, and it makes it more powerful and endless, because it'll be infinite. Right? Like a box system, an equation of this or that will always get changed as soon as a new equation comes in. As soon as we get another dimension of light spectrum here and we're on 5D, 6D, all of the math's going to change. You know what I mean? Because now we're not living in this physical lower, so we don't need this type of math down here. We're going to need higher dimensional math, higher vibrational math. So it's just, there's so many key things like that. It's like when you're a kid and you wake up and you're excited for the day because something new is going to happen, or you're excited. You know what I mean? We forgot that kind of stuff, all the stuff from being a kid. That's totally still possible. Just because we got older and bogged down, we got we got indoctrinated. The way to think. We got to stop it. That's what we're here to do. You know what I mean? The work is you getting over whatever negativity still lives within you, because you got to keep a high vibration. You got to push that stuff away. Like I say, the fight, the war, it's always going to be here, right? This is not the place where we can count on the external, and it's not like we can't, right? But like it's not set up to where we could walk outside and then it's just the perfect day for us and it's the perfect rejuvenating energy. It brings my energy. Like, no, it's always air pollution, like food. You gotta watch your food. You gotta watch your thoughts. You gotta not watch too much television. You gotta, like, it's all trying to suck the life out of us so that it can still live, right? And so, like I said, with the double slit experiment in the beginning, right? If observation takes a particle, a photon, right, and turns it into physical matter because of the observation, then what is it that we're how's the creation really happening here, right? Like, it's what everything we're seeing, tasting, hearing, smelling, and that's such a super sensitive and hyper awareness to be. Because I remember saying this on the show too a year ago or something, like, how the heck are we supposed to be, everybody wants to be fully consciously aware and the greatest all-knowing, like God as much as we can, or whatever that concept is, right? But like, we're not even going to get close, like, not in these physical vessels, not yet, right? It's all coming, but it's it's like, so thinking that we know anything is just really something that we have to put all of that outside and just look for the connections. Look for how it's all connected. Look for how it all works. This is why some of this stuff is so easy for some of us to see, but then other people can't see it at all. Funding certain places for the research of things. And then literally the simple fact that we have the record of the funds being sent and it being funded, that the people could still say, no, we didn't. And then people still believed it. So it's like, there's a point where we have to say no more, is what I'm kind of getting to here. Right? I haven't been noticing lately on my shows. I'm not ready to just sit around anymore. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever that means, even though I spend enough time sitting around and, living a peaceful life as much as I can. I very much do enjoy peace and quiet, and the outdoors, but like, so while there's going to be all this stuff for us to do and for you guys to stand up and be strong on, the whole world's just going to keep coming back at you over and over again. It's the same story. It's Groundhog's Day again, guys. And the more you are still, this is why I talk about the Groundhog's Day, because there's you being in the Groundhog's Day, and then there's the fact that we have external forces that are keeping us in the Groundhog's Day. So what we have to do is remember not to subscribe, once again, to any set belief, and just keep moving forward, right? It's not about that. It's not, right? There's so many things, and that's why I did the dogma and the drama talk earlier. There's so many things that people think are so important, and they're not. You know what I mean? But they are, because that person made them important. We all know this. Okay, so what are you making important to you? And what is it that you're here to do? And what is it that you're, right? Everybody basically, like, it's like tarot cards, for example. Like, people want to read a tarot card and be told their whole life and story and what they need to do and how they need it. And listen, it's great. It's fun to read, and you can make a lot of connections. I think that type of stuff is the most important things to be reading, for developing yourself, figuring out how life works, how the planet works. I mean, there's a lot of information there, so I think there's a lot to really, like I said, I'm always teasing it, but that's not why, because they're all tools to remind us who we already are. We never needed a tool. So, like, what I mean? Like, did you need a tool to bring your consciousness down? Well, besides the physical body, and then your, parents, hooking up. I mean, like, yeah, we needed, again, because it's connected. There's connections, but it's like, you need to know anything that we've learned on this life, in order to incarnate your consciousness and as a physical being in this and this and this, right? Like, it's really not that complicated, and it's all this illusion that we need to keep stimulating the economy. We need to keep doing this and doing that. We need to keep working at blah blah, so we can stimulate the economy. Listen, there's no amount of work that we can do that will ever pay it back. So this whole concept of like because I get it, there's lazy people out there in the world, and then there's people who are workaholics, but again, they're just arguing their points, so it's like, if we're in a system that we're all constantly in debt, well, then it doesn't matter how much production you have. Eventually it's not going to work. Eventually something else is going to have to change or come along and whatever. And we have that, right? And all this stuff is a lot for people to digest. And that's why they're, if people aren't into the cryptos yet, you guys should be. It's gonna change everything. This is why, it's the connections, again, seeing how everyone's saying everything's going to change, and it's going to happen soon, and it's going to happen quick, right? Because it's already here. We already got it. What's missing is the people, the consciousness, the awareness, right? Like they say, if everybody meditated once a day, and we got the whole world, all 8 billion people, whatever, they all meditated on peace and love, all for 10 minutes at noon or whatever, right? The vibration would rock the world. You know what I mean? It'd be insane. And so then there's the balance. Are we going to do this fast, or are we going to do this quick? Well, we need to do this as quickly as we can. And that means that the quicker you want it, the more people you're going to trigger. The more you're going to have to get triggered. The more you're going to have to do, right? If we want more until we're dug out of this completely, then that's going to be more. But the idea with this is that it's just having to worry about the people who don't know. We're going to be able to take care of that. We're going to be, you know what I mean? It's not as heavy. It's not going to be as heavy. But until you guys, we all, right, until we can articulate ourselves with peace, through peace, right? Because we're trying to reach our family and friends, we're trying to reach people we love our whole lives and have impacted us, and so knowing how to say it and say it correctly is just going to be key, instead of getting upset. Now, get upset and rage at the system, sure, rage against the machine all day. That's up to you. But and that's why I like to do. Everybody's don't say this, don't say that. I love saying it. There's a part of me deep down inside, my horns come out, and I'm just like, no, go say it. I'm gonna say it first. I'm gonna say if I want to say that, And then there's the other side of me, my halo comes out and goes like, I wish that could have gone better. Like, oh man, now I feel bad. It's like, And again, and then you guys got to, people, you got to realize that they're just aspects of us, and that's not who we are. It's what we're believing in, because any one of us can believe the good or believe the bad. We got to stop thinking like one person's better than another person. No, it's just that one person, like for me, I just have awareness on things that other people don't. It doesn't make us any, you know what I mean? So, but this whole thing, it's set up that way. Everybody's got to be right. Everybody's got to be first place. Everybody's got to win. Nobody wants to lose. I mean, who does, right? Because you don't win the $1 million prize, right? Exactly. So it's literally constructed this way. And most people in the world know that. This is why we have to see the things happen in the public eye. We have to see, this is why we have to, exactly. So more people can see it, because most people are not meditating. The majority of the world, you know what I mean? Unless you're in Tibetan mountains, and you know what I mean. Like unless you're a monk and you're over there, all of them are meditating. But you know, if I were to like somewhat like America, like there's probably 10% of people that meditate, you know, like on a regular, you know, so we got a long ways to go, guys, but it can all happen in a flash. And that's right. So it's the practical versus the right. Like I always say, it's not separate, right? The practical is, you know, the same as the spiritual, and the spiritual can't move ahead until the awareness of the people are ready. This is what they've always been saying, right? We got to get the awareness of people ready. That's why all this stuff has to happen. And the more we can be out there, the better for everybody, regardless of what happens. It's just going to be better in the long run. The more of these videos that are, you know, recorded that I have, you know, that I can post in places, and more people are going to see it, you know, this is what's going to wake people up. I mean, it's just a concept of me studying Taoism or learning Tai Chi or learning to meditate. You know, how did I learn? Well, because somebody wrote about it, somebody put it out there. So people started making, you know, YouTube videos and whatever, and I started watching them, and then I started, you know, getting the CDs and the DVDs, and you know, and learning the masters and learning from this person and then that person. It's just like we just got to keep doing it, and there's tons of people right now that will like literally tell a monk that he knows nothing of what he's talking about spiritually and whatever, right? But as soon as he punches 5 bricks and breaks them all, they shut up. But they still don't know anything spiritually, right? Okay. So if they practice for years to be able to punch those bricks, and they're practicing meditation for years, I'm pretty sure they can do something that you can't do, or they know something that you know. And that's the one thing that I've always noticed, you know, with anybody who like isn't into meditation or doesn't believe or this or that is, you know, anybody who says anything about meditation, like, you know, right away that they don't meditate, you know, because they would know what you're talking about then, you know, because you can't explain what everybody's experience is the same. Like, it's not the same in each meditation. You know, we could all sit down, go through a guided meditation, and then we're all going to have a uniquely different, you know, situation perspective. Maybe you felt it on the left side, and then but other guy's leg got, you know, shaky energy going through his leg. It's just going to be different. So this is where science can't fathom, because they can't reproduce it. They can't say, oh, if you meditate, this will happen or that'll happen, right? It's taken all this time for science, which it has, you know, to finally admit that there's like health benefits from doing it. But the only way they got there was because all the people who did it, and then they'd measure them. And then, you know, it's literally, it's the weirdest thing to me. Like, because I like technology, like science is cool. Science is one of the most exciting things. Put the Mentos in the pop bottle and it's the volcano. You know, how many kids, we all love that. How cool is that? When you figured out you could drop a thing in the thing and then it shot all over. That was fantastic. Science is great, you know. But man, it's the ideals. The systems are there, right? The systems are already there. We proved it with math. We proved it how we proved it. It's there. But like, are we like, now what is what I want to say? Like I always say, now what? Hold on, let me change this. I gotta read your guys' comments real quick. I got over thousands of songs on this playlist. I don't even know. Gotta make that money, man. Going back old school. Bone Thugs. Drink your buttermilk, guys. That's just good for you. I hate to break it. One thing that the body needs is hormones. Now, we don't need other animal hormones. So we can argue that for days. But how do you make your own hormones? We make them by our bodies anyways. And still, that stuff, you know, I mean, like, but there's something about buttermilk, man, that my body tells me when I need buttermilk. that shit is good for me. I don't know. Maybe not for everybody. For lactose, probably not good for you. But I literally drink that whole thing. Like I could just have that forever. It took me a while because it's nasty at first when I was drinking. I was like, oh my God, because it's not milk, it's buttermilk. But now I freaking love it. So, what is it? Chicken came first, animals before the offspring. Right. No, I mean, I agree with that too. Right. But then we'd have to get into the consciousness of it all. You know what I mean? So if everything is created from that 0 point, blah, 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 how much consciousness did it take in order for it to hatch and into what, but yeah, like who created the egg? Who created the chicken? If the egg created the chicken, well, then the chicken had to come first. But yeah, I mean, like I get this. I agree with that. Essentially, like in the ultimatum and total of it all. Hold on Tupac right now. I got too many of his songs. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, what are we talking about? Oh, let's pull cards. Cool. Love you guys. Let's pull some cards and see where people are gonna go. A document about what stuff specifically? I was talking about a lot of stuff right there. Sorry. Well, no, it's like one thing too is I talked about on the show where they literally have the remote viewers, right? Like we have it's like I don't think it's the CIA.gov, but it's like something.gov. It's a government website. I know I can't think of it right now. It'll probably come to me later, but and they literally have the documents and the recordings and the transcripts of government agents or peoples or whoever was tasked, could be doctors, psychologists, whatever. But they're literally asking a guy to remote view a different planet, like a million years ago. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, so, science this, science that, sure, fine, whatever. What I'm saying is that whether you believe it or not, your government does. Right? So it's like, and they're using your tax dollars to fund it. So, everybody's like an expert on politics and government and everything. And it's like, I don't even think half of them know what they're even doing, like what the government's actually even really doing. So we gotta get this stuff out there, man. They're trying to squash it, Sasquatch it with the censorship, man, but they're not going to stop us. They can't. They wish they could so bad. And that's why you guys got every single one of us has to be out there. Doesn't matter. Like what I just, it's so funny. It's like I talked about, remember when I said I was younger and then, first relationship, right? And then all of a sudden I noticed all these different feelings that everything else had, everybody else, and that was me noticing how the whole world is constantly pressuring and pushing, and everything's trying to push onto you. And where's I going with that? I don't know. I don't remember. Something about just believing in yourself, doing your own thing. It's all a game. It's all a game. Oh, the Gateway Project. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, we already got gateways, man. They've been protecting them. They've been from us. They've had to get them back. All this kind of stuff. All the gateways are mostly taken care of. Can I get a confirmation on that? Yeah, mostly. That's why we said mostly. Yeah, we know. We already say it, Michael. You got to know that you're already channeling with us. That's what they tell. I already know I am. I'm just double checking. Jeez. It's everybody else who doesn't understand what I'm saying, or not you guys. It's like I can see how it could be confusing. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe that much, a little bit. What's that from? That's De Niro. What does it do? Don't get low set on what I type. Lost. It is the name of the CIA document. Oh yeah, they name them all kinds of things, and then put a whole thing in there. Yeah. What's the Gateway Project then? I started reading some of what you said, but I had to get off, like, because I just did that whole uh live for like almost 3 hours, or what was it? Like, so I was like, okay, I gotta slow down. I haven't looked back at it. But yeah, no, as much as I like finding the evidence and all that stuff, it's really just it's just a rat race. It's just a rabbit hole that I don't need anymore, you know. And I think that's what all this, a lot of this spiritual path, whatever happens to everybody, you got to realize that you're getting to the point where you're done. You're done having to figure it all out still. You're done having to this. And like, if it's what you like to do, then cool, you know what I mean? But what I'm realizing is, as much as I like exposing it and the obviousness of it and the irony and how like so plainly obvious it is, all these documents, like, that's what all everybody else needs, and that's why it's important that we do our own versions of what we're trying to, bring out and say, because there's literally so many channels right now that are talking about the truth, that are looking up documents, that are going back and checking videos, that are doing history on different countries and putting all this stuff together. And at the end of the day, it's all one giant headache to me, like, I love it. It's what I'm interested in. So I'll always be looking at this stuff. That's why I've done so much of this research. We all have. But I feel like, again, that's missing the point. People are still getting caught up, and it's like 50 years later, we're still trying to find out who killed JFK. Guess what? We probably already got the gist of it. You know what I mean? Like, but people need to see that actual factual thing. They need to see somebody get arrested for it and put away, right? And then even if it wasn't the right person, they feel better because they have closure. So it's just, I don't even know. It's interesting to me that people can't even fathom that these things could actually happen, right? Like the voting thing, where they said recent in this next election. Let me turn the light up. They said in the next election in America, which we got 2 years out, right? Then we just have the midterm or something. I don't really know. I don't really pay attention that much. I just see it all online. But by the next one, they're saying, like, we got to protect it so it doesn't get hacked or something like that. We got to have voter security and this and that. And I'm just like, didn't they literally just say 2 years ago nothing got hacked, everything was completely safe? But now you're saying that it needs to be safe. Well, the last vote was the one from 2 years ago. What's prompting this? So it's just one of these things that it's like, where was I going with that? That's so obvious. You know what I mean? It's so obvious everywhere you look, everything that they say, everything. Like, I just get, it's all fascinating, but at the same time, like, it's just more information for my brain to like process that it already knows, and I don't know why I'm sharing this with you guys. Like, I love that you are offering to share this with me. That sounds great. But again, this is why I talk about Groundhog's Day, and this I say, so now what? You know what I mean? Like I don't need any more proof. I've known it since I was a baby, since I was a child, 5 years old, knowing that people are full of it, that everybody's just making up their own stories based on what they believe. So it's just like, I mean, and because of that, it's easier for me to, I like to think it's easier for me to see it all because I'm actually seeing it all. Right? I don't know how to say that better. When you got this starting to come on, you know what I mean? And you're seeing things, and then you got your senses, you're just like, no, like, there's no way did he just say what I thought he said, right? He needs to take a nap, go have a nap, get off the stage, like, it's so obvious. But no, and that's cool. That stuff it's fun. It is fascinating, and that, that's the thing too. A lot of people say they're history buffs, and it's like, no, you're not. Like, there's a lot of history buffs out there, but a lot of them don't even know half of the history, like, they're history buffs, but yeah, from school, like, from public school, history buffs, and then they might find something interesting about a culture or something. But it's like no, we need to get the real history. If you're a history buff, you're gonna be reading the Bibles, you're gonna be reading all the ancient texts. You want to know the history, like, a lot of people say they're history buffs, I just think you like culture. That's all that is. I'm a history buff. Well, why? Right. And then you can say, oh, okay, well, maybe it's because of how things happened. And I like that, right? That's how I am. I get that. That's what I want to know. I want to know how it happened and what happened and who did what and this and this. And then that's it. But I don't want to read all this information. Like there's so much and it's saturated on purpose. They're oversaturating all this information out there so that we stay confused and nobody knows what to think about this thing. Didn't they just try to say that with where JFK said there's a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child, blah, blah, blah. I remember seeing him and hearing him say that. I've seen the video. I remember that shit, but now if you look anywhere, it's all scrubbed, So I found there's a book and it's online and it can be ordered. So I'll let you guys figure that out. But I shared on Facebook anyway. So they haven't scrubbed it already, but it's funny because it's a book of quotes from presidents and leaders and stuff like this, and literally it showed his quote, him saying, like, had in quotes the same thing, and then it said JFK, is attributed with saying, and then so it's just like, so literally I found the one that tried to scrub it off, but there's still a book out there because the book's already been read or been written, and so it's just how do you even explain that to people, right? Oh, we got Janet on now. Oh, shoot. Oh, here we go. Some Stevie on. You guys know the jam. I can't say the lyrics right because I can't. All right, Crow Tarot. I'm gonna get off early. I want to stay on for another 13 hours. Oh, I just banged my ankle on the chair leg. Oh. What? Wait, oh yeah, it's this one. Wait, I don't know where we're at. So, I'm like thinking, this is too much. Wait, yeah, Odin's coming. Yeah, that's the one. I had. It's funny. My spirits, they don't mess around. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm ever been distraught or something, right? And I want some love and I want to connect to love, it's always a very specific energy that shows up, and everything else is just like, it's like we're all sitting at the comedy club. I swear that's where we're all just sitting around on couches cracking up about everything. And that's why I'm always trying to explain how you can still live life without taking it so seriously and all of these things, Thank you for your sharing. What was it? Analysis assessment of gateway process energy creates control of reality. Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah. No, and that's what I mean. Like they've done all these analyses. It's like we already have Tesla. Tesla already explained it. He already explained it 50 years ago. How long ago was it? Right? But like we still have experts nowadays doing assessments and reports on bullshit. Like, what I mean? Like, that's why I keep saying, for all the experts that are learning all this stuff, it's like water experts, right? Seriously, people got to go and get a water degree, and then so that they can start regurgitating the fact that we don't have enough clean water. So what are you guys even learning in class? Are you learning to solve the water problem, or are you just getting bunch built up and all these things in your head, all these ideas, and nobody's even solving anything, right? Like we need some new minds to think about. No, we just need a normal person to walk in there and be like, right? And this is the difference. This is spiritual and practical. It's practical. It's all the same. It's it's like spirit is matter. Matter is spirit. And that is because everything has a Jing, Qi, Yi, and Shen. And I'm already writing all this stuff down for you guys. I don't know when it's coming out, but like I say, it's like the forever project that I'm gonna be doing forever. And I'm just gonna keep talking about it until it's finally done. But I've been diagramming it all, and it's a lot of information. And with me, I want to explain everything, so I'm squirreling off all the time. Just like, how do we make this so that we can all understand it when there's no box to understand it within? You know what I mean? So it's like I'm making my own course. It's gonna be awesome. Don't you just dump out on me like this. I know. We'll be okay. Jeez. Yeah. Because that's what everybody likes. They're arguing with me. No, I'm arguing with them. Oh, I know. You just got to keep doing it. You got to keep going. Anything in life. That's what they're saying. They're saying it doesn't matter. Nope. Shut up. Zip. Nip it in the butt. Zip. Nobody cares. Right? Stop it. You stop. You stop it right now. You stop. Okay? No, don't. You stop it right now. Oh. That changed up. Oh, we're getting into the funk over here. No, I don't want to. Hold on. Nope. Oh, there you go. Rage. Any more want to come? You guys are just shooting all over the place right now. What are we? Am I not? What are we missing? Connections. It's about connections. Right, we're supposed to make connections. That's why of everything everybody's trying to figure out, you change it all the second you connect with somebody. It's all about the now moment. The now moment. The one thing that is most important is right now and how you feel. And sure, you got something coming up later on, blah, 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 blah. It's fine. Plan for it. It's very important. But right now, if you punch yourself in the face, it's going to hurt. You know what I mean? Right now is the most important. The now moment. We get into it. Okay, no, wait. That was 3 cards. So you didn't want one more? Okay. I got the cards. Five, 6, 7. What is that? Oh, it's upside down. That's why I can't. I don't know what the heck's going on. So is it 7 or is it 6? No, wait. 5, 6. Okay. 7 of Cups. Upside down. Reverse. I don't like upside downs, but I don't not like them because it's all just references and it's all connections. This one says you're spending every waking hour busying yourself to avoid facing reality. Because of this, you are unable to fully realize your dreams. Reverse. 7 of Cups. So what are we doing to busy it all? So are you spending the busy time in what it is that you want to create? Right? Pretty much. Well, I mean, some of what I want to create is the ability to just sit outside and not have to worry about shit all the time. Right? I think of that, all the time. It's like, there's a lot of stuff a lot of us would want to create, but I mean, sometimes it's not a whole lot we can do, I mean, we can. I'm not saying we can't, but like right now, just got back from the gym. I go to my show. And then I'm probably going to go outside before it gets freezing cold and get some fresh air. And then I have some food. And then but what would I like to do? Well, I mean, we could, fly around, like Peter Pan or something, like fly. I'd love to fly. There's a lot of things I'd love to do. I'd love to devote myself to learning how to make a jetpack. Of course. Why don't we have jetpacks by now? Right. We do. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Right. Let's slow down on this one. And that's what we got to stop pressuring ourselves too, right, you guys? Right. Everything's going wrong because of me or because of this. Here we go. It is A-okay. Don't worry. Then we got Wheel of Fortune. Okay. See? Slow down. That's why I say on the show too. Slow down. Everybody needs to slow the heck down. Ups and downs, luck, yes, cycle, life, Wheel of Fortune, fire. What goes around comes around, and so does the Wheel of Fortune. Why don't you the cards? During difficult times, this card serves as a reminder that if the bad comes good and change is coming. 3 crows in the center point inward, symbolizing an inner power to move the wheel and our ability to control the amount of time we spend either up or down. The 8 crows facing outward on the wheel represent the spokes of the wheel and the energy that each direction possesses. Although they appear to be fixed to the wheel, their wings allow them some freedom, symbolizing our ability to learn from and move past a difficult situation. Upright, this card indicates that change is coming and it will be welcome shift. Perhaps difficult time is ending. I agree, 100%. Right? We've never had, thank you, we've never had this kind of experience of awakening of so many people. So even if it's, fast, slow, however you look at it, what has happened recently is immense in its importance and its impact that it's had. It's immense. It goes way further beyond whatever what humans are arguing about. Like, this has to do, they're saying it has to do with shifting consciousness in the universe itself, like other beings, right? Every time we change our consciousness to higher vibration, we heal anything that had to do with anything lower. So anybody, any attachments, any beings, any soul pieces, whatever you want to call, right, that were attached to that, now have a path to go to the light. They have a path to move up to higher vibration. And so this whole thing is, and you guys know all this stuff. I was already talking about it. See, we're already talking about it. You guys I love working with them because they verify me. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, they verify me, but like they, it makes me feel like I'm working together. We're in this together. Like the cards always say everything that I've been saying, and I tried to pull them the one time to see if I'm charging them while I'm talking about it. It's funny, but that's why I always tease. Do you need to read your horoscope again? Have you figured it out yet? Why you keep reading what everybody's saying about your horoscope, right? But then at the same time, they're fun, and I like listening to them too, right? But we got to not worry about them so much. The point of all teachers are so you can learn to do it yourself. Otherwise you're not learning anything. You're just being told, and then maybe you're having an epiphany here or there because, oh yeah, I do like long walks on the beach. That's totally because I'm a water sign. I mean, everybody likes a nice stroll on the beach, man. We got to stop. Oh, I got to find a good one. I listen to very unique music. And then some old schools, punk rock all the way. That's my favorite. I just love punk rock because it's a vibration. It's just fast. It's just, or heavy metal. That's why I like it. And again, I love AC/DC, right? And they're pretty slow on the drum beats. He pretty. Anyway, I think we all got to get old, right? Everybody's trying, you know what I mean? It's like, and then it's like relationships, right? Everybody's compatible like this, or I like, if we just said what we liked and what we didn't like, and then, we'd all figure it out already. We'd find the perfect people, we'd find the perfect friends, we'd find the perfect jobs, we'd find the perfect bosses for you, right? And that's why you got to start blabbing more. That's my piece of advice. That's always my piece of advice is they say, be quiet, don't talk. I say, excuse me, right? It's like, what? Oh, Mr. Self-Important. Excuse me. You go ahead and you talk about your things that you need to talk about because they're so important. Self-belief structure. See what I mean? We can't work with these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, never mind what I'm saying, because really I don't care, and clearly it's not welcome. So I'm out. I think as we get older, I'm getting less and less patient. That's for sure. When I was a kid, I at least tried to keep the peace. I'm a Libra. I'll always be doing that. I can't help that. But I'm happy that I have a part of me that likes to toss it up. You know what I mean? Break the ice. What am I doing? Hierophant. Hierophant. Then we got Hierophant. You see what I'm saying, guys? Watch. I'm going to clarify these and watch what they do to us. Right? We know that. Education, tradition, religious institutions, higher learning. Hierophant Crow is pragmatic and does not take unnecessary risks. This crow appears at a time when a conventional approach is needed to resolve a situation or help further project. Card brings a warning that now is not the time to think outside the box. Instead, seek knowledge from a well-regarded institution or person. The Hierophant's role is to stand before others as a mentor and spiritual teacher until people realize they don't need one. The Hierophant's role always so that he is deeply connected with the divine and could represent guidance that comes from connecting with their higher self through a professional healer. Well, you know, your higher self is your higher self, guys. It's not anybody else's. So not to say that that doesn't work. I've done it, help people. We all do that. But that's not what I'm here to teach you guys. I'm not here to teach you to go find people to pay thousands of dollars of to unlock your abilities. Like, no, they're your abilities. All we need to do is people start talking about this stuff and get dialogue and get some get a bearings on it, and we'll figure it all out. It's why there's all this amazing spiritual stuff, and then it becomes practical and you realize it's just you, you know, and then now we're talking in fancy ways people can't understand, but really all we referenced was the fact of the yin and yang. We just referenced the law of cause and effect or something, you know, but right, it's like learning anything. We got to learn it. So again, now I'm saying don't go learn stuff from anybody. Like anybody watching my show, I appreciate you guys just supporting, you know, me blabbing out here, but you know, and I hope something I say triggers something inside you and inspires something inside you, right? But that's inside you, right? That's why we just need to talk. We just need to be talking. That's all we got to do as people. This whole censorship thing's got to go. That's how you know it's time to talk more and talk louder, you know? Like we as people, and this is why the most people don't know what's going on. That's why they're not standing up in the right ways, if you will. You know what I mean? Like that's why they miss it, you know, what's happening or whatever like this. Oh, I was going to clarify those. Yeah, that's okay. I think they're pretty clear. Like I said, I'm already talking about it. That's why they make me, I come on the show, they tell me what to say, and then they back me up. Appreciate it, man. Where is there? Got it. And I'm an air sign. This is how I work. Don't worry. I'm fine. Totally grounded. Literally just got back from the gym. It's like I just pushed anything out that I had and sauna for, you know, I feel great. Right. But everybody's going to tell you, oh, you're not ground. Oh, you're this, you're that, you know, because what I see is in you, you know, there's a difference between being able to read somebody and knowing what somebody, and I've talked about this before, right? Like with if you look down into the left, right, that means you're lying, right? But that means like literally, if I speak the truth my whole life, eventually I'm going to look down into the left, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm lying, but it often does. So anyways, at some point we got to realize, you know, it's not about what you can figure out about other people. It's what you can figure out about yourself. It's what you can, you know, it's what, this is why there's so much confusion. This is why people get sued. And this is, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever. It's like, you said this, you said that. No, like it's just somebody else trying to tell me what I said. And then, yeah, sure. Are they lying? Well, we don't know. They just changed what they said that they said. So we don't know. But all we can do is take their word for it, right? So none of this has to do with anything external. And the only people that are getting into trouble are the ones typically lying in the first place. So if you just be honest with yourself and you just say what it is, and yeah, it's being able to sense people. I wouldn't say read people. It's probably a better way to put it, maybe, right? I know how you feel. I know what's going on in your life because I can sense it, and then I can tell based off your tone and this and this and this, right? Or like, what if you got the resting bitch face, right? I talked about this on the show too. You know, they always look like they're upset, and they're not. You know, but it looks like it. So are you using your your ability of what you know and what you were taught and what you're, or are you listening on the inside, right? So now you know how somebody feels because you listened on the inside, and whatever they say is just the external. You know what I mean? We take words way too seriously and literally in our culture, way too seriously, um, because it's not expression. It's like babies. Babies, they don't even speak words. They can't even speak yet. Does it mean that they're not saying things? You don't know. Like, so we gotta stop and then literally and then act like we're somehow supposed to know every word in the English language or whatever language. You know what I mean? Like, it's unrealistic. We gotta stop all these things. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I'm just saying it's gonna take a lot of explanations. I know. That's why the more of us that are out there, like the more you guys are out there, the more you're helping me. Right? It's too much fun. But I'm excited about the podcast. Me and Jeanette, we're gonna do podcasts, so we'll be on once a week again. So you're gonna have me twice a week, minimum. From it's all revving up. I don't know. We're going into hibernating, and that's why I'm starting to rev it up, right? Because I like to play in the summertime, in springtime. I don't want to sit in front of computers. Ever, unless I'm talking and my vibration is what's guiding or something, or I'm watching something I like, whatever. Like, it's not like I never do. Oh my god! So you know what I mean? It's like this is how much this is how much people need explanations. See, to stop. Can we cut off the? Thank you. Right. One day I'm just gonna light language for an hour straight. Nobody's gonna know. There's gonna be even fewer people knowing what I'm saying then. Right. Yeah, now it's already gone. No, I like that. That's the George Carlin too, where he says, "Time, time. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? As soon as you knew what time it was, there it goes. Or as soon as I say it's 8:57, 8:09, it's gone. It's gone again. It's gone again. Time is either in front of you or it's some. You say even if you wait for it, you say, wait, here it comes. It's almost here, and it's gone. It's too funny. But again, that's how we look. You got to think of these things too. Like this is a huge, important thing I feel, which people argue with anything and everything nowadays. So who cares? But if we see frames, I think I said, did I say this on the last video? I probably did. Yeah. We're only seeing 30 frames a second, and that looks like a fluid motion picture. But what if we're not even fluidly moving? What if we're blinking in and out of time? What if we're projecting like a hologram? So it's like the constant, right, projecting the image, right? So who's to say this isn't a simulation? Who's to say this, right? All of this stuff. But we think we're biologic. We think we're this. We think we're that, right? So are we thinking that, or are we actually? So these are the questions, and you have to learn to be able to differentiate between the two. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with that spark that's inside of you. If you can't access the spark, then I don't know if it's organic, right? Because then it's a hive mind. Then it's a server room somewhere, And when I connect, I'm not connecting to server rooms, So I'm just trying to figure out a good way to explain it for everybody. Holy moly! Hold on, scroll down to the next one, and then I got to pull Odin, and then our Galactics. Oh, this is my jam. Old school Buzzcocks. Heard of them guys? Check out Boredom. All right. You know what I say, what I mean. I say what's on the mind. All right, Odin, hook us up, bro. Come on, you didn't even fall out. I caught you. Come on, Mr. Super Spirit Beings. Start picking on them. Oh, there's one. Yeah, you're welcome. I help. I know. I help. Sometimes I like to put in a little extra oomph on the shuffle to make sure it should have came out or not. Aha. No, we're doing it again. Wow. Connections. Holy crap. Every single one of these cards is connected. They're not falling out. They're just sliding like this. They're all stuck together. And there's no sticky. You shouldn't be stuck. Whatever. I'm just describing it. That's what's happening. Trust me. No science necessary. Oh. You know, I usually do like just one. Yeah, that's why this feels weird. I know. Well, we're doing 3. Thank you. Yeah, you knew it. Oh, we got a new person. And an old person. Check it out. Thor in the house. Let's go, kid. Bro. Let's go, bro. Thor, man. Oh my God, have you guys been watching Wednesday? Or did you see it yet? Wednesday Addams? I'm in love. Where's Wednesday been my whole life? Such a good show. Wednesday Addams. Was it just called Wednesday? Just called Wednesday. So freaking good. I loved every second of it. But I'm already star spangled for the Addams family, you know. Anyways. But it's not even that. It's just that they make me feel home again. Their jokes, man. They're the macabreness in their jokes and how it's hilarious. I mean, it's a good show. There he is. So let's read Thor. I've never read Thor's. Power. Associated with thunder, Thor's sun god Odin and Hjord, Earth. His hammer, Mjolnir, is one of the most fearsome weapons in existence, given to him by his father Odin, which the warning to use responsibly, with warning and with great care. Crafted by dwarves, the hammer represents power as well as destruction possible if we misuse our earthly life. Be mindful your abilities, your emotions are intrinsically linked to the way you use them. Our feelings are the most powerful weapon we possess. If we withhold love, we damage another. If we allow anger to drive us, we cause hurt. And if we live fearfully, we miss opportunity life offers. Recognize the gift this card offers. Thor's hammer can break through the walls or barriers in the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual realm. Allow Thor to set you free. That's a good one. Lightning, my favorite element. Seriously. Always has been. Then we got Issa. I've had her before. I think she's not a god. She's a rune. Yeah. So, Issa, ice ego stands still. The ice flows from Niflheimer, the land of the frost giants, have reached you through the rune Issa. You're frozen in time and have lost all momentum. Freezing temperatures create a hostile landscape in which nothing can grow and everything must come to a standstill. Issa suggests you let go and release what you are holding onto. Often it is the eye of the ego and what we feel we deserve we should have. It is due to the ego that we lose sight of our purpose on earth. Your ego is protecting you no matter the state of your consciousness. Your karma also plays a big part in the development of your ego. Issa encourages you to take time to examine what it is your ego is trying to protect. Do you need to continue holding on to this part of you, just as the frost giant grasps the Issa symbol? Whatever it is you're attached to, let it go. Although there is no reversed position, trust that you will move forward and that after the freeze and the thaw of spring, you'll find yourself. Remember, Issa can be either all-consuming or a place of observation. Well, let's go on with the theme of Groundhog's Day. I like this. Are we moving Groundhog's Day forward just a little? We're moving it forward a little. Just forward a little Groundhog Day. Sounds like good to me. Sounds good to me. Okay. Then we have. It looks like this isn't a rune, is it? Could be a rune. I don't think it's a god. It's not a rune. She might be a place. She's in like a workshop. Nidavellir. Nidavellir. Somebody. The 9 realms. Yep. So it's the dwarves' golden hall. Get out, no kid. You know, we got some earth energy. Remember earlier the practicality with the crow cards. They're saying get realistic. This is why I make the show spiritual session. It's all connected. It's all the same thing. Just saying. You have entered Nidavellir, the mysterious land of the dwarves. I looked down. I lost my place. Hold on. The land of the dwarves. Dwarves are said to live in the great halls underground. They are master craftsmen, precious metals and halls made of gold. The dwarves make swords and tools for the gods. They were the craftsmen who forged Thor's hammer, Molgnir. Drawing this card brings a message that your hard work will be rewarded. You've done your part. You made the grade with integrity and industry. This job is well done. The dwarves never sit idle, but work morning till night, creating a place of beauty. It is time for you to receive the benefits of all your efforts. You might receive an unexpected gift. Be grateful for the good fortune that Nidavellir brings. So, yeah. Make your life, right? Break the ice so you can reach the Hall of Gold, man. Create the Hall of Gold, right? And even that, they created the weapons for the gods. Yes, you're welcome. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right? We think the gods are all powerful. And no one out the dwarf, man. Right? Moldnir. On the side it says, created by Dwarfy Dwarf Senior, whatever. Like it's like, right, made in Niflhammer. That's what it says. That's why it's a unity thing. We're all connected. We need each other. It's the whole concept, brother and sister, past and present, future. We all need each other. We're all here for each other specifically. Oh my gosh, it's already going. I'm already an hour and 37.5 minutes. I can't do just an hour. I just don't know how. I'm really good with timing, like normally, but this is how much I wish I didn't have to be. Like, can we just not worry about timing? Like, that would be cool. How much more relaxed we'd be. Ugh. Right? That's what we're trying to do. Create the world you want to live in. But then you have to share it. You have to share it. You have to share it wisely. Right? Because otherwise it's just you by yourself living in some reality you think exists and it doesn't. Or maybe it only does, a certain place. Right? It's like me when I'm sitting outside, Like I always know that eventually I gotta go back inside, and we gotta get going. So it's just like, but if I could, I'd sit out here forever. I don't even know what fell first. This is all over the place. There's too many energies here right now. Not too many. I'm just saying there's more than usual. There's more than when I'm usually all over the place. There's something else. I know. It's just us though. So we got Black League patterning still from Orion in the past. This one comes up a lot. A lot. So we know what this is. The Black League, for those who don't know, right? Like you can read it's in the book, but they were the helpers. They were the good peoples, right? They created the Black League, who wanted to help. And they were like the ninjas in the night, but they were helping. So if you don't know, so we have Orion Pass Blackleaf patterning, which is like this whole fighting war, this whole people here, people there, and powers of position and not. And this is a chess game, right? Um, this one fell. These two came out after. So then I think it's initiation and ceremony, Vega in the future. Okay. Then we got Earth, melting pot, future. Zeta Reticuli is here, paradox, future. Because we're changing the future. It's not the same future that it once was. Holographic healing, Pleiades, future. Yeah. We're all here helping. But it's going to take all of us to do it. Right? It's just like, having a place of peace or a city of light or something like this. As soon as there's that one person, right? All it takes is one person to be a liar and blow up the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta we're remembering why we're here and who we are. Some of y'all in the future, initiation ceremony. Again, I'm not exactly sure how these fell. Melting pot is Earth. That's why we got Orion here, we got Vega here, we got Zeta Reticuli here, trying to be funky monkey with the future, and that ain't happening either. Sorry, some of that stuff. Because we're changing it. And then Pleiades, right, to the holographic healing. And this is what I think. So I think Pleiades, and I think this is the right order. Zeta might be one that goes, no, because it's future. So we have past and then 4 future cards. Yeah. And I can read about all of them things in there, but you guys get the drift, man. You guys know. That's why we talk about it. Been talking forever about it all. No, you're bad. Reiteration, you're bad. No, it's all good. Nobody's bad. But are we? Oh, here we go. Just something to pump us up. All right, guys, I gotta go. I got nothing else to talk about. I think we're doing dinner. I think I can smell it. Love you guys. Much love. I can't wait for us to meet again tonight in my dreams. It's pretty much what it is nowadays. It's at some point, like, all of your whole life becomes all connected. You know what I mean? Like when I go to sleep, I'm not just blacking out. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm doing stuff and we're going somewhere that, and you realize we're awake all the time, consciously. And then you start to take care of your vessel a little bit. You got to take care of the vessel. You got to take care of your vessel. You have to. You will feel better. You will think better. You will be stronger. You will be wiser. You will have more abilities if you eat properly, if you sleep properly, if you we all know this stuff. So it's literally like, it's the, I don't want to say hypocrites, right, or whatever, but people all the time, we would say, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, yeah, and we don't. Oh yeah, like I'm seeking the path, but I'm not willing to eat more healthy. Well, then you're just making it hard on yourself. Like, they're like, oh no, yeah, I'm doing it, but then I'm not doing it. And so we got to stop doing that as people. Like, I can't say how common that is, where everybody talks a big game, or whatever. Talk, walk the walk. Time to walk the walk. We want to make it real. We want to make it physical. We got to walk the walk. Everybody wants to be on the ship. Well, you need to start walking around outside like you are on the ship, because the reality is our consciousness. We already are on the ship, right? Beam it down, connect it back up, right? Connect this vessel to what it's connected to. It's not disconnected. It's just lost the memory. and all the muscles and abilities are atrophied, but they're not gone. You know, that's why anybody can do this. Anybody can figure this out and can start doing it. I think we are. I think we are. But again, we have to take the world by storm. We want this place to change, blah, 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 blah. Well, who needs to be in charge? Not who is currently, at the least. You know, that means it's got to be one of you guys or me. And I don't want nothing to do with them. Right? So, you know, and that's the thing. So we go out there, we put ourselves out there, and then, you know, we don't get the love back because it's not out there. Right. Well, it will be. Right. If people are talking about we're going to move into this galactic, we're going to have contact, we're going to be moving into this new world, this new Earth, and whatever. Well, who are all the beings that are just going to be totally open to that new world? Right? Does it mean, because literally, I mean, we got to get rid of half the population down here because they're not going to be the ones that are going to be believing it and going into. I mean, sure, we can take some of them, educate some of them, but you know, the concept of all these beings that are going to come and just like it's like basically like ETs are going to come and then they're going to set up all these advanced schooling systems for all of us, and then only those of us who really resonate are going to be able to learn it all. Or, you know what I mean, like some of these ideas of how this is all going to roll out, like we don't know, you know what I'm saying, we don't. But what we do know is that it's you. It's you. It's like when I say paying it forward, you know, we all want to live in a world where we know that everybody's, you know, I live in a positive world, right? Well, if nobody else is putting it out there first, right? So how do I know that I'm living in a positive world if you don't ever do anything positive? How do you know that you live in a positive world if I don't ever put it out there, put it forward? What is this? You know what I mean? So we gotta we gotta realize the practicality and the spirituality of everything that everybody's talking about right now, right? Because this is a real thing happening. It isn't just fancy schmancy, you know, blink and then all of a sudden we're there. It's not how it's gonna happen, guys. I hate to break it to everybody. Sorry, not sorry. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean it won't happen fast. It doesn't mean it won't happen, but things are actually going to happen and have to happen in order for this to really, you know, set up. The only other option is that somehow through voting or through somehow through the systems that are already in place, literally every significant person, ruler, leader has to literally be a good person, and they all have to get there, and it all has to happen at the exact same time, that everyone who's bad like quits or something, and then all the good ones go in, right? Because you can't just put one good guy in there now and the corrupt wolves of, you know, whatever, like he's not going to have that much impact, you know what I mean? So, but that's the whole point. The people, we all need to get behind them. We need to get behind each other. We need to get behind ourselves, you know, whatever, a lot more, instead of whatever things that are out there already. I don't know. All right, guys, I love you. I'm going to leave it there on that one. Remember how powerful you are. Remember, just vibrate high. That's it. Just vibrate high. Whatever you got to eat, whatever you don't got to eat, whatever you got to do here, whatever you got to do there. If you got to meditate, if you got to go work out, if you got to, like I said, if you're feeling off, hop in the shower, take a bath, you know, just something little like that, 10 minutes, make you feel way better, totally different. You know, we're here to be the ones to make it physically real. So we're all asking for, right? And so that happens every time I run into my soul fam in the physical. Right? Every time we're there, it's too powerful. No one is going to mess with us, right? Like nothing can get in, nothing can get out that we're not fully aware of is there, you know, and we create such a safe space, you know, where it literally feels like we could take on the whole entire world, you know, because we are. And we can. Hey! Yo! They're good when I listen. I'm telling you, when I channel, You know, the thing is a lot of what I say and channel, it's all mixed up in the, you know what I mean? And it's unless you know channeling, it's, you know what I mean? You might not be able to pick out when it's a channel and when it's me, because essentially it's all just me. It's all just you, right? It's what can you attach to: positive thoughts, negative thoughts, positive vibrations, food, positive beings, positive not beings. You know, everybody's channeling, but it all has to come out like it's a new thing. You know, it's like decades ago yoga was like frowned upon. Now everybody's doing yoga, right? There was so much male ego over yoga, like, oh, that's such a fruitcakey thing to do. Oh, what is that? Or, you know, what are you doing? Or Tai Chi or anything like that, right? Like it was just such a weird thing, and now it's completely normal. So we're moving fast. And if you guys think of just a couple decades ago, we're moving fast. We only had TVs for 50, 60 years now, right? That's like a lot of people are still alive, you know, like that is like, that's still, you know, so, and that's why a lot of this is misunderstood, because for a lot of people, news and the media and information, it's still kind of a new thing. It's still like, you know, all people are still trying to do, you know, like, so they still kind of like, you know, like my grandpa's, right? He grew up without a TV, you know, he's older than that, you know. Um, and that's amazing, because I'd say it to him, like, you grew up without television. Like the fact that we can look at each other, and I can look at you, and and you can look at me, and we're in the same moment right now, and in your memory you have a reference to a time when you had no televisions whatsoever. I don't have one. I don't have one at all, you know. um, it's amazing. So yeah, shout out everybody, shout out life, shout out you and why you're here. Shout out life, dude. Shout out life, shout out life. 100%, over and over and over again. Life, it's worth it, everything, because it's life. I'm gonna cry. No, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Uh, that's funny. And thanks for being here with me, everybody. Yeah, we all have all our unique skill sets, right? I think as we all get connected more and more to ourselves, we're all going to learn them all. We're going to get them all back, right? It's just a matter of which ones are first, which ones are second, you know. Because there's a lot of people who like to spend time up with the spiritual beings. Like I do too, you know. But then it's like, you know, so what are we doing? You know, you know, and then it's still, well, wait, we got to wait and let it happen organically. Oh, all right. So what do I do? You know, go write some more stuff to wake people up faster, or should I not even be doing that? You know, like, I'm teasing them all the time, you know, because at some point it's all connected, and we're always there, and it's not a disconnect, you know, and you realize we're I don't want to keep going with that, but like we're on a team, we're on teams, we're playing teams, and shirts versus skins, you know. Do, 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 do. I'm just picking music now. I got nothing coming through. Yeah, no, I love it. You know, the different the skills that everybody has. You know, once you can channel the energies that you need to channel, you know, I mean, skills are just separation. You know what I mean? Like they are. You know, I mean, I'm over here, you're over there. We look different, right? We have that uniqueness, and but I like the fact that they're, like I've always said, what's magic to the magician? You know, it's just a skill. It's just an ability. It's just something that is, you know, pick a card, any card. Oh, what was that? Oh my god! Well, I mean, he's just sitting there laughing. He knows the whole trick. You know, so it's, I like to think of them as our awareness and our abilities to do things are coming back online. Like I said, we can all, or what was I saying about shooting fireballs or whatever, right? Like that's different. But every single one of us has a Lao Gong point in our hands, and then the Bai Hui. Oh no, wait, Bai Hui. Oh, I'm gonna get the name. The Chinese. I don't. That stop it. I'm not gonna get them all. Like, but we have these points where we can emit energy from. We can send it out. We can pull it back in. It's always been that way. It's like not a skill that somebody has more than the other. It's just the focus. It becomes a skill because that's the word we use and we call it, but really it's just awareness and focus and sensitivity to be able to do it. So it's not like it's something nobody else knows how to do, right? But again, I'm just making it more complicated right now. So because I can't do anything normally, I have to do it all reverse psychology, reverse, do the math problem backwards first, all that kind of stuff. Like, um, so yeah. So I love you. Thank you for that, and I love that. I love that we all have our unique gifts. You know, some of us are blabby, some of us are not blabby, and there's a very different energy, with all the beings, and that's what I like. I think there's, this concept that, bringing all our soul aspects back and this and that, but how many of them do we really need to bring into this incarnation? How many do you need in your physical body to really just kind of do what you need to do here? And if we were to bring literally all of them in, who's to say we would have what, or full this or full that, the idea that part of us is still off in another dimension, that actually is a comforting thing for me. They like not disconnected from me, but the fact that I'm, just not all here. Like if this really was all that there is, and this was all, and all of my soul is here, and all of this is right, like we wouldn't have anywhere to go. We would be like, this place would feel really stuck. Um, so that's why I like just, your abilities and your skills. A lot of times what happens is you realize you've always had them, and you've been doing them your whole life, and to you it was normal, and to, other people it's not normal. So like for me, I'm a blabber. Like if people want to sum me up and figure it out and say if I'm speaking the truth or not, and like write it all down and a court of law, and have a recorder, like, yeah, you're not gonna, then we're not gonna, it's not gonna work between us. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm a blabber, and there's a reason I'm blabbing, and it's so that we can all come together and we can all have fun. That's why I pick every angle, every side, and I just try to talk it back into the balance, back into the center, and how we're all connected. And it's just because people just seem to want to separate themselves to be number one, or to be whatever, or to be unique. What's the line? We try to be different, but I guess that's nothing new. Like we got to realize this is Groundhog's Day. Ain't nothing we're saying now is special or new. A lot of it really isn't. I hate to bring right. It might feel new. It's like Ascension. It might feel new path, new. Might have all this more information. Realize there's all these people, and this stuff's been going on for a really long time. And then you're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I'm so excited. Then you realize like, that's literally what happens to everybody, and that's like it's been happening for a long time, and people were just coming slowly, one incarnation at a time, or fast. I don't know. Depends on, again, what's relative. Oh, sorry, got my screamers on right now. I will put on something else. Okay, no, I like that. I like that a lot, right? Like you'll realize what your abilities are once you just start doing them all the time. It's just we have to recognize them as such, It's like dreams. Your dreams will help you with that a lot too. Like learning how to fly in your dreams. I remember that started for me a long years ago. And I was taking courses how to fly. I was flying, and someone was teaching me how to fly, and we were just in black space. I mean, we were just out in space, and and I had to learn to make like a J shape, like certain flight patterns in my hands versus my feet. It was so cool. And then it's been years since I had that, and then recently I think I was sharing them all about how I'm like flying in every single one of them now, so it's pretty cool. Um, and what does that mean? That my ability to pick information from all the different beings. I'm not judging them. They're not going to judge me. I mean, they can. Good luck. Go, whatever, right? And place it all. Like the raven. That's why I'm the raven totem. It's because I'm looking for all the valuable things, and then I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to put them in my little library of information. you know. Um, and it's in the chaos that you find all the little things, right? And I'm the year of the rat, so we're very crafty, and they hoard valuable possessions also. So I got to. I ain't here to play around. I'm really not, And being this nice guy, right? This is why the nice guy thing doesn't really. I mean, being nice. I say it on the show all the time. Everybody's got to be nice. That's the number one thing. But there's a lot more to all of us. Just saying, I'm trying to do a rap face. I can't do it. All right. I guess it's time to get off. I can sit here forever. I'm just glad with you guys. I just like hanging out and talking about this stuff. It's so rare. Even a lot of channels I see, everybody's talking about the magic of the planet and the energy like this, and then the crystal was like that. And a lot of people don't want to talk about, like, what are the crystals inside of themselves doing? Right? What are the planets inside of themselves doing? Like we're still, we are, and that's what's cool. So I love, shout out to the whole spiritual community, people doing the shadow work, going into the depths, learning to purge and to restructure and to realign to who they truly are. That's what all of this is about. That's what this whole thing, thank you. That's what this whole thing is about. Everybody everywhere, right? Because, right, like I like to talk about all the, right, and all this is all about is everybody waking up to become the powerful being that they are, and knowing that they are, because they forgot that they are, so it's already done, which is why the traps of being good enough are all here to make you think you're not. Right. We all know this stuff. Right. Thank you. I appreciate this. Right. But it takes a lot of repetition because we're still doing it. I know. People haven't realized this. It's not about what you can do, what you can't do. No one cares. I don't care. Right. Like, you could have all the skills in the world. I'm sorry, I'm picking on. I love it. You're giving me stuff to talk about. Thank you. But it's like, you have all the skills in the world, and I'm still gonna look at you and go, okay, now what? Like, what are you gonna do with that, right? And what you do with it is gonna decide who you are. So, like, you don't have to tell me that you can do it. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, I would prefer, like to not do any of them. Like, how about we just go for a stroll? How about we sit down and chill out? And like, the only skill we need is I can pew and then start the fire with my finger. That's the only skill we need. We don't need all this other stuff, but it's all a competition. Everybody's in competition mode. Everybody's trying to be the best spiritual teacher, the best spiritual this. Everybody's trying to be the best. We already are, right? And the problem is people can't hear. They don't hear right. They need convincing. And take it to somebody who can be persuasive. I can convince a lot of people a lot of things. Generally because I won't do it if it's not something I don't believe in. So there's truth in what I like to talk about. But it's like when I sold Herbalife, help people lose weight. They did, and it worked great. I know, right? But that's because they had to have the want to lose the weight first. They had to want it first. Otherwise, it doesn't work, right? So I always joke, you get the phone calls, when they say, hey, if you guys want a vacuum cleaner, whatever, the cold calls people, like, are people actually ordering this stuff? Like, oh my God, you call it the perfect time. That's exactly what I was needing and what I was thinking of about getting for the past week, but I haven't gone to get it. And you called right now during the week that I needed that one thing, a new magazine subscription, something, which is cool. Go ahead and call. That's fine. I don't answer if I don't recognize the number, but makes me think, like, is that really a valid, like, selling thing? Like, does that work? Like, what companies are still around and supporting themselves based off cold calling grandma and grandpa who are retired and see if they want, a dish towel that never gets wet or whatever. Okay, I'm just blabbing now. I'm blabbing. So I'm gonna go because we are on the new songs. Uh-oh. Oh, all right. I feel good. You guys feel good? I gotta go eat. Definitely. Definitely. Could you hear that? Hopefully not, because then this video will stay up. So, all right. Love you guys. Thanks for everything. Be nice to each other. No, I don't want to steal it because it's a Bill and Ted thing, but be excellent to each other, guys. He says it like this: be excellent to each other. Yeah. 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 Scored. Yeah, nailed it. Yeah. Bill and Ted know everything. You need to figure out life, just watch Bill and Ted. Watch the new one. If you guys haven't seen the new one, it was good. I loved it. And the robot was hilarious. The robot is Zaz from Gotham. If you watch Gotham, the series Gotham, and Zaz was a beast, and I love Zaz. So he plays the robot guy, and it's so funny. You have it? Yes. Oh my God. I know, it's so good. Just that scene when they're talking to their wives and they can't figure it out. We love you. Right? And then he looks at each other. He's like, no, dude, I don't think you're doing it right. It's like, well, go for it, bro, if you think you do it. And then he says we again, like I. And I want to ruin it if you guys don't understand it, right? It was so funny. I was just dying. And then he goes like, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I think you got it. Like, yeah, like that's why Bill and Ted is the best, because they were always friends. You know what I mean? Like Bill and Ted, there's such a lesson to learn there. They always got each other's backs, and it doesn't matter what one of them says, what one of them believes is crazy, weird. They're just like, whoa, like, and they just love each other, bro. Like that's all we need in life, man. Everybody, it's all competition. Everybody's trying to be the best. Everybody's trying to make the most money, be the famous, this, have the most followers, have the this, like, man, I can't wait to just show them how much it doesn't matter. But I don't know if I don't know if that's specifically my job in this life. Like, to have that power where I could just be like, shut up, and then all of a sudden all followers got dropped from everybody's thing, anywhere, which again, I don't want to do that. Some people make a living off of it. Shout out to them. I'm just saying. So this is a mixing pot. It's a melting pot. This is why it's the living library, right? Where all on the station, it's the station on the transport route to where all the stuff was stored, and this is the most epic, one of the most epic places, and it's full of everything and everybody. So let's have some fun while we're here. Just take care of yourself, watch yourself, and do the best you can to remind yourself and your life and people around you and your universe that you're here to help it. No matter what comes out of my mouth, I'm here to help. That's why I said it. Even if it's you're a putz and you need to wake up. I try not to say it that way, but after my whole life of saying it, it just comes out that way sometimes. It's like, oh, it's too funny. Wait, who's on now? Oh. All right, guys. I love you guys. Yeah, Face the Music. So good. So funny. It was so like I think I watched it first time and I was with somebody. I don't want to get into it, but I didn't pay attention like I wanted to. I didn't get to watch it by myself. You know what I mean? With my own mind and my own right. I had somebody else's mind there who didn't understand the jokes like I do. So I watched it by myself like the second time and I literally just fell in love with it. Like it's one of those movies I could just sit there with a smile on my face like this, like the whole time, and just sit there and crack up because I'm happy that they're happy. I'm happy that dude and their kids are freaking awesome. Are you kidding? They're the best kids ever. You know, like, and they're all like, what are you gonna do today? Sit around, listen to music records, and they're just like, yeah, that's totally our top priority. That's what we love to do. Like he's trying to make fun of them, like you do something with your life, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna go listen to records. Like that's a good life, man. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Anybody who's beat their own drum and is a happy person. That's what we're all trying to get from all of this stuff to learn and all this stuff to figure out. And it's all just so like, can you finally be happy and content with your life and life itself? And can you finally stop crying, whatever. Again, crying's good for you. I'm not trying to pick on that. We got all the emotions here. Can you realize that you're not your emotions? If you can have anyone you want right now, and it's up to you, right? Like you could put the song on that you want, and then you could stimulate an emotion if you want. You can, like, we gotta get into that creatorship role, and that's why the God complex, or the, not the complex. I mean, in a way, we are all gods, whatever you want to talk about like that. But that's where all the religion comes from. That's where all of it. Like, how do you explain to, especially people who are like successful, who have gone to school, got a degree, 100, 200,000 a year, job, whatever, and they're doing really good. If you tell them about it, well, they're like, no, the system works. You just gotta, then they say to us, you just got to actually do it and believe in the system and stop trying to fight the system, right? So they're never going to see what we see, what others see, So we need all of us, though, and we need it. We gotta. That's why it's not about being number one or how special you all are, or I am, or you are, we are. It's about how much love are we bringing to each other, man. It's a no-brainer, right? Like the rules, the way to fix life isn't by more rules and more laws and more, it's people got to admit that they're not happy or whatever. People got to admit that you're not being and giving love like you could be to yourself, to others, whatever. I don't care. It's all you. And that's why at the end of all this, quote unquote, end of this life, whatever incarnation, right? That's, you go where you go based on the work you've done inside of yourself. You can't take none of this stuff with you. You're going to go where you're going to go, right? You're not going to go where somebody else tells you to go unless that's truly what you believe. And then you die and then you're looking for this other person and you're waiting to be told. It's all just so obvious. It's so obvious. It's the way way it works. And you get there once you get inside yourself. And I think I'm talking to a point right now where all you guys already know this stuff. So I'm just going to get off now. Well, that best friends can't describe what they were. It's a whole new level with them. Yeah, for sure. Right. And then you see them again after years, and nothing's changed. Right. You carry right back up where you left off. Right. So Spirit says, right, right. Connections. Come on, they're all there. It's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Do you know what I mean? So this a million times. Does that make sense here in this moment for me to say it? They're sitting around doing whatever. We're sitting around doing whatever. And not just sitting around, but I'm saying they're there. We're here. What's going on? Right? Well, I better start seeing some improvements. Otherwise, I'm going to have to talk to some people. I already talked to them. But we can't change. You can't change the plan. No matter how much it might work better in a different way, it might work faster, it might work better this way, it might not so much that way. We can't change. You can't change the flow. You can only affect the flow by what you're doing all the time in every moment. How does the flow, how does creation, how does life get to this place? Well, because people will stop paying attention to it. They stop caring, right? That's what they say, right? All the, Atlantis, whatever, we abuse the technology, we got greedy, we stopped listening to our inner, connections, all of these things, and look what happened. Because we were trying to force it too much. And that's the difference between being grateful for life and being upset that it's never going to work out the way that you want it to. You know what I mean? Until you get, and but that's because of a finality, thinking this is the only thing in life. This is just one example. This is just one incarnation. This is just one area of the multiverse out there to experience. So, but a lot of people don't believe in reincarnation, stuff like that. So they think this is it, and if this is it, this was a lot of fun, right? So all these concepts, all the things everybody's saying, there's so many experts out there. It's all coming from the fears of their own minds, a lot of times, Anyways, all right, I'm still blabbing. Yeah, no, I agree. No. But I've been saying that to them since I was like a kid. Like it goes beyond anything that we can argue with them about, because they argue with it too. They're on the same side as me. They agree. They want this to be happening faster, and they want this to be, but they can't. Even they can't. Even we can't. We can't. You know what I mean? It's like the perfect example is when you try to like say something and like wake somebody up or say something, right? Sometimes it'll work. Sometimes the right timing. Sometimes they're not in the mood. Sometimes they're this. Sometimes you can get in further, right? Or it gets completely shut down because the timing isn't about you, right? In that case, it's about them and their timing, right? Or at least it's 50-50. Because if you're already awake and you're trying to talk to people about higher levels of consciousness, it's not about your timing anymore because you're already there. So it's only you thinking you're not there because of the external, and then that's you forgetting who you were for a second and what you're doing and why it's happening. You know what I mean? Like, we can't. Trust me, it's the number one thing I say all the time. That's the number one argument. We came down here to help, but you're going to say there's not an intervention. But then you're going to say the intervention is from our future selves or our ancestors or our family. And the whole reason we're here is for our family and our future selves and or our ancestors. So where is non-intervention even? How does that even make sense? Because we're literally here intervening right now. So there's a lot of concepts out there that don't make sense on paper the way that they do when you have to ask and you have to listen, you have to know. You have to know what the answer is. And I don't know how to explain that to everybody. I mean, I do. I mean, I help teach courses on it. So, I'm getting but there's no way to do it without the experiencing of it. Take that question and ask them. Right. Excuses and distractions, just smash them, then we'd not even have to worry about them. Right. Exactly. But there's more to it. I completely agree. Because that's what they say. Oh, well, there's beings watching over. There's so many beings coming to help, and they're ancient beings. They know how to help, and they've seen this before. And I said, okay, well, we're still doing it. So, for all the great, super powerful, super beings that are out there that are here watching us, helping us, protecting us, this shit's still going on down here. So I don't know who's saying that they're so powerful, because I haven't seen that yet. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that it's not there, and I don't know it's not there, but they're still not doing anything, right? And so then they say, well, it's up to you guys. You guys are the boots on the ground, and we incarnated. Well, with what? With zero, the abilities on, we have to crawl through figuring it all out all over again. How many Groundhog's Days do we need until we get the beings that actually know and can actually do this stuff? Right. Well, they are already here, and a lot of them already exist, and a lot of them are still you and me and us that are waking up more. right? So there's a process to this whole thing that no matter how much we want to change it, we can't. We can, right? But we're not going to, because we know better. Because it's that forceful changing, right? Smashing and beating people, right? Like you say, that's not, it's not part of how the organic growth is supposed to happen. But then I argue and I say, well, listen, nobody cares about our organic growth because we've been subjugated, and oppressed as people for the longest time. So all of this, there's a savior plant. Listen, this place has been overrun and we've been oppressed as people, slave race for freaking hundreds of thousands of years. And you're gonna tell me that this just started in 1950s with Roswell? Oh, that was it. Yeah, that might have been when the treaty between humans, that was supposed to try to be the first contact, and we blew it on that too. But what about Atlantis? What about Lemuria? We've been blowing it for a long time. So I don't know who these special forces, galactic light beings are that are gonna come and save anything, aside from knowing that it's you and me. Do you know what I'm saying? Practically, realistically, spiritually, I know it's me because it's within me, and it's always been within me, and it's always been a part of me, right? But at what point, so I say to the spirit all the time, at what point does the leveling actually come? When does Ma'at show back up? When does Anubis get here finally with Osiris? Osiris is just so far off. He's got so much to do. Okay. Like, when are we gonna? I know he's preparing for it all. I know he's got to hold a really big, bright light for all the beings that are gonna have to talk to him for a few minutes. Yeah. So I agree. And that's why I do these Sunday spiritual sessions. It's a Sunday spiritual session where I'm really talking about it's all the same shit, right? It's physical, I should call it Sunday physical spiritual sessions or something, right? How it's all spiritually involved, and it's all right. So if and then they say it's above, so below. Well, I hope not. I hope the little up there is a little nicer than this down here, just a little. Okay. So it's again, it's a bunch of beings that they're sitting there watching. They care, they don't care. You know what I mean? It's the same as humans down here on the planet. It's the same shit. I keep saying it's the same shit, right? And so there's a practical side of getting this place back into shape. And while there's always going to be negative people to balance it off balance or keep it balanced, in the opposite direction. So and that's why I say it's a finesse that I can only feel. And it's its own thread, and it's all by itself. Nothing else comes close to it. But how do I explain the thread, right? Right? Besides saying it's all connected and it's everything we're going through right now as people, as a planet, as a politics, as religion, as the economy, like we've been saying this whole for the longest time, and it's Groundhog's Day. But until we understand, until we take the reins, we're letting it be done by something or someone else, right? And so how many incarnations do we need so that we can start incarnating fully conscious, right? This is the fight. It ain't easy. You got to fight. You got to wake yourself up. You got to pull yourself out of that as quickly as you can so you can get started. And then you got to get started and you got to go. And we need to band together. Otherwise, we're going to be left hanging out to dry. We got to figure this out finally, once and for all. Not just another generation of spiritual beings who know half the story, and some of them believe this spiritual thing, and then other people believe that spiritual thing. You know what I mean? We gotta wrap this up. I completely agree. And the only way that's going to happen is by blabbing a lot more. Maybe not blabbing, but saying the weird things a lot more, like otherwise it's just going to rinse and repeat itself. Now it won't, because we're moving in the timeline of the completion of this, so it is happening, and the children are going to grow up with parents that are talking about this stuff more and more and more and more. So the kids are going to be more and more turned on, tuned on, up, tuned on, turned on, turned on. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it's going to happen in a practical way too, right? It's going to happen naturally. The vibration is rising and people's awarenesses are rising, but this is the way it has to go, at least for now, right? Because like they say, why isn't there just open communication with ET? Well, because for all the power of the light, there's power of the dark. Right. So that means on some level you're either believing the power of the dark is greater or the power of the light is greater, and then you're waiting for that person or thing to show up and overpower the other thing. At some point you got to realize it's you, because you have light and you have dark in you. All of these people out there worshiping anything, everything, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's you. And until people realize it's you, and everybody realizes it's them, right? That's why we're just going to be fighting forever and ever and ever, arguing. Even when people realize it's them versus people who still haven't, as we arguing again. So we got to figure this out. We got to sum it up. And they're literally spirit. The universe can't even tell us anymore, obviously. Like it doesn't even know what to do at this point. Like it's literally showing us like people that are corrupt, people that are hurting other people, how like it's showing us all this stuff throughout all this time, all throughout history, right? We just had the pandemics going on, like all of this stuff. It's all out there. It's showing you. It's showing all of us, all the people, and people can't even see it. Like what did shout out Alex Collier said the one time he's talking about, he's like what do you say? One of these politicians, they keep looking younger and younger every time they keep coming out, or whatever. And one of them used their right hand and then they used their left hand to sign the bill or the doc, and he's like, he just said, it's literally it's right in front of your noses. Like how much, like it's like the universe is playing a joke. Like how many people can we actually wake up? How many people can we show this to and are actually going to like see it and go, wait a minute, like the universe can't help any more than it already. I mean, it always will. But essentially the universe's job is to maintain balance. But it's like we keep asking it to show us. We can't even see it. If you can't see it and it's right in front of your face, it could show you all day and you're not going to get it, And then again, that's why I say we got to blab a lot more, I think it's just talking, Yeah, like we're not the important ones. It's somebody else. Yeah, no, that's why I feel too. Like something's got to happen. That's why I said, my show. I don't know. Wow, I don't know if you've seen that one where they're saying Enki's coming back or Enlil's coming back. Like I don't got time for your brothers arguing, you fighting over your brothers arguing. I don't care what family issues you guys got. I really don't. Like I'm the creator being, and I can create tons of Earths. It's like, well, you know what? Then hurry and do something, okay? Quit telling us all about it for all these generations, and then just not doing anything, right? I'll squash you like a bug. Well, please somebody hurry something. Could we do something? I mean, I was looking forward to going to work again in the morning, but you it's like you tell me. This all these power, it's all this penis waving, freaking my penis bigger than yours. Everybody's full of it. Spiritual beings, I don't care, right? The biggest ones are the ones that are supposed to be the most kind and integral, and like I'll squash you like a bug. Like I thought you. So you got all that power, and you just want to squash people. Like clearly, you shouldn't be having all that power. You know what I mean? Like this, I don't need beings. I don't need more of this. Like, I'm done. I'm all by myself right now. And that's how I'm connected to everything. Whatever is where I like to be. right? But it allows me to go where I want to go when I want to go, and stay however long I want to stay. It's freedom, man. Like, I don't know, right? It's just like having a family. Which, shout out, don't get me wrong, I don't got no babies, but get married, having a family, yeah, it's nice. I like the idea, but how is that's not freedom? Everybody freedom, and then now I got spouses and babies running around. That's why they're yelling from the house, from the garage in the backyard, freedom, because they don't got it yet. It's like, but again, I'm not saying one thing's better than the other. As long as they got friends, and who knows what the future holds. I'm not in any hurry, but I feel like everybody's in a hurry. That's for sure. That's for sure. I remember the one time I want to have kids. I want to be done with school by the time. So I graduate when I'm 18. Then I'm going to go to school for 4 years. I'm going to be done by the age of 22. And then I'm going to be married by the time I'm 25. And I'm going to have kids by the time I'm 26. And I was like, God damn. Like, oh, have fun. Like, I really hope you get all those things at those times, because you're going to be upset. I hope you're not upset if it doesn't. All right, good luck, have fun. It's like, I don't know. I would love to do all that stuff, but I ain't found the girl who's the hey. I can't pick out of these crazy basket of crazies, And shout out, that's not all the relationships I've experienced, but I'm just saying. Yeah, one of the idiots are trying to be more important. Oh yeah, I read that. Okay. Yeah, no, and that's what's funny too. You said everybody's lazy to die. Yeah, no, right, right. I like how you put that, but that's how some people feel too. It's like, it's like, no matter how much we go through, we still want to survive. You know what I mean? There's something in there that we're not tapping into often enough that could probably give us everything we're looking for to know about ourselves and others, and to have the passion or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's still within you. It's all freaking within you. Why do people get bored? It's because you're constantly trying to find something outside of you to entertain yourself. Boredom doesn't exist when you live from inside of yourself and you realize you can experience joy just with a thought, or just with the vibration, or just with the feeling. You could walk outside, put your foot on the grass, and you could feel joy. You could say, this is the greatest moment in the history of me putting my feet on the ground, or whatever. I don't, the subtlety of life. Like, that's why everybody's lost. It's simple. It's so simple, But yeah, it's crazy though. Some people want bets. Well, yeah, you can only prove it to yourself, right? That's what people said to me too one time. Well, you're trying to say all this stuff and you're trying to convince me, and I'm like, no, I'm literally sharing what I've gone through in life, what I've experienced, and what other people have shared about all this stuff. Like, I don't know, And they're like, why you gotta explain it? Why you gotta be right? You gotta be. And it's like, all right, listen, because this is what happens. This is what people need to understand. It wraps around. It's a circle, and it keeps wrapping around, and you keep revisiting it, and you keep over and over and over and over again. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like it's like if we bring this stuff up to the psychologists, right? They're gonna look at us, and then they're gonna hear me, right? Then they're gonna have to go through their whole entire book step by step. It's like when you call the help tech support, right? Hey, my computer's not working, and then they say, have you restarted it? And you're like, yes. Have you rechecked your router? Yes. You know what I mean? We have to keep telling them, but they have to go through their thing. The last place you want to go is that place and ask them anything about what's going on. I mean, not if it's fixing your router and you can't get it fixed, but you know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, that's funny. Oh my gosh. What is it? Oh, thanks, Nicole. You don't think it's funny? Should have live nobody wants. No, I agree. You're right. You're right, Curse. I agree. I completely agree. That's why I get charged up. It's why I have to blab. It's why I don't feel good if I don't say this stuff and if I don't get off my chest. And it's why I ended up doing it, on here. And then groups and Facebook and YouTube is because there's just not people around to talk to like this. People don't understand that, like, they're living their Kardashian whatever lives, right? Shout out Kardashian. I said I'm going to use that just as example forever, and then they turn around when something bad happens, they get all victim and they get all, oh no, blah blah blah, like, why did it happen? And it's like, because you're not paying attention. That's why it happened. And all of us are having to clean up after your mistake. All of us are having to live in the world that you're neglecting to take care of, and so I agree I know how you feel 100%. Like, I agree. And I feel that. I know the same feeling. Like, this isn't a laughing matter, right? Like, that's why I slightly mentioned, we're at war out here. This is a war, spiritual war. Like, we're in a battlefield right now. Like, we're at, sitting here listening to Marley right now. You know what I mean? Talking to you guys. This is a war. There's a game going on, a war. And sure, once it's all, once we're all past it, and once we move on, and they say, it's just a distant memory, and this is like, yeah, we get it. It's all relative. Everything's relative. That's all that anybody's saying is it's all relative, right? So now, to agree with the laughter, because I want to do that too, I laugh about all of this. I think it's hilarious. I think the fact that we can't figure any of this out, it's hilarious. Like, people don't know. You know what I mean? What beings are trying to incarnate here, and what souls? So if we're all connected to the infinite love souls, well, then why do we keep reincarnating here and limiting our minds? It seems like a lot of us souls that keep incarnating here keep getting plucked with, and you know what I mean, this and that and the other. That's why we can't remember. So what kind of grand soul and infinite being of love and light or whatever would even want to touch foot on a place like this? You know what I mean? Especially knowing that they're not going to have any influence, right? And then Jesus already tried it and it didn't work for him. Right? You know what I mean? Like, no, it doesn't. This is a very serious matter, but the shit we're talking about, people can't handle the seriousness of their own lives, let alone take on the galactic histories of and how we're all here. And for me, it helps me because it all makes a lot more sense, really, because now I have, you have that core center point where now you're like, okay, these are all the connections to this place and time and why we're here and why it's happening like this. Actually helps me to better understand it all and feel better about it all. But because of it, I think it's hilarious. I think this is, it's like I said, it's all a bunch of babies, spiritual babies. I don't care. They say it's about the ego. Yeah, it's about ego. It's not my ego. It's somebody's ego fighting with each other for control. So yeah, we get it. But the separating myself from the story is very real to me. You know what I mean? Even though I'm here and I know that, right? So it's all just states of consciousness. So yeah, that's why I say it's like, it's anything. You got to be able to laugh at it. There's a silver lining. And no, it's not funny, but the way I just looked at that made it funny. But that doesn't mean that's how the situation is. So it's about keeping yourself sane, in a place like this, man. Like, if I don't laugh about this stuff, if I took these energy beings or if I took them too seriously, like, I wouldn't be having fun. And I did a lot of that in the beginning when I was first learning who's this, who's that, or are they good or are they bad? Oh, I can sense that they are good. Oh, I can sense that they could be bad too. And oh yeah, well, it's all of it. Okay, so now we got to step outside of it, right? It's all just for our development, but once we realize that we're already developed, like I came in with a desire for us, or with a sense of humor, it's built within my vessel, my awareness, my ability, that doesn't mean that we don't think this is important, right? But that's why that's why I say I think comedians are the key to everything. The comedians are the court gestures that would get killed if they didn't please the king or the queen, right? Like, you're going to go up there and juggle. You better be juggling freaking saber-toothed tigers. You know what I mean? Like 14 of them. And because if he's not impressed, he's going to feed you a one. You know, that, I mean, this type of stuff, the court gestures are literally the ones who get it, because they make fun of the king and queen, right? They're, you know, hopefully not too much, that might get you killed, right? But the comedians are the ones with the minds to see past all this and everything. And maybe not all of them are, you know, but it's because they're not affected. When we are affected, when we're triggered and we can't get out of our trigger, that's when we're not seeing it, you know, and that's when we lose the viewpoint, we lose the observation. So that, I mean, comedy is it. Comedy is everything. Laughing about everything, but it doesn't mean it's, you know, it doesn't mean we don't care, man. You know, I'm laughing because I care. You know, because I'd rather laugh and shake it up this way instead of cry. You know, or sometimes I want to cry if I feel a need to cry. You know, I might be sitting around, I'll go, you know, nothing's going on, but I feel emotional right now. What's going on? You know, and then maybe I'll think about things with spirit, and then something will come in, and I'll think of mistreatment in the world or something. Then I get a little teared up, and I go, oh man, you know. But then right away, I have this other side that snaps me right out of it, because I know it's what you're choosing to do. Are you justifying the pain in your life, saying, oh, since it's important, I have to care about it? We already care about it, but that doesn't mean you have to watch it all the time, right? Like people in the news, right? Like, oh, if you don't watch the news, it means you don't care. No, it actually doesn't. Right? Completely doesn't. That's a completely false statement, you know. But if you're going to sit there and keep watching it, then you're going to be, you know, with it all the time, be triggered by it all. So no, I agree. No, and I appreciate you saying I'm funny, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to joke about it all, right? But again, you can't say it, you know, if somebody doesn't want to joke about it, you're not going to be able to joke about it, right? You guys know that one? Oh, well, see, Cursed, you're choosing your observation. You could see how any of what I'm saying has been funny or not, right? But I'm pretty sure I've been trying to add all of it into there, right? Like you have a very high intensity about you around all of this stuff that I would suggest to let go of. There's a lot that you're gripping very tightly, and it's causing you to feel the way that you're feeling and have anything that's going on with your conscious, with your energy. You know, I can feel the tension that you have. I mean, it's in your words too, and you know that you like to blab like I do, right? We were talking about that. So you got a lot to say. And I know that's why I started this show like this, because I had a lot to say too. But we should always be able to do anything and everything, saying or not saying, without a feeling of tightness and worry and this, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Even if you got to worry because you're at a direct threat, it's still not a desirable feeling, right? If you ask the monks, you know what I mean? It's why they're always like, they always have that same slight smile on their face. They always look really calm, right? You know, it doesn't matter what's happening, because like, are you justifying it? Are you saying I should be feeling this way because that was a bad thing, right? Well, then if you're going to let yourself feel that way, that's fine. It's up to you, but you're not helping yourself. You're not. And it doesn't mean you don't care, right? That's the biggest trap in the world. Oh, you're not being sincere. Oh, you act like you don't care, or you don't care. Why? Because I'm not crying too, because to you, you're crying. And so in your reality, this whole situation everybody should be crying, but I'm not. So that means I'm not sincere, right? Like, no. I am in control of my vessel and the feelings that I feel, as much as I can be, right? You know, we're all right. And so I'm not going to choose to feel something and cry and feel and be, I can't. I can't. It's like I said, I have a defense mechanism. I'll crack a joke. A joke, I got a jokester in here and he'll crack a joke and it'll take me right out of the whole thing. Like, it's because we still know it's happening. But do you need me to sit here and be passionately and telling people and say, hey, this was really happening with the world. We really got to start paying attention. But you don't need that. But for some reason, this is how people respond. People will believe more somebody who talks to them like that because they're shooting energy into them. And as they absorb it more and more, what that person said feels like it's more significant because they got more of the person's energy, right? This is whole thing behind persuasion and how this works and how psychology, right? Like it's up to you. That's why they try to mess with me all the time, my whole life, and they'll never be able to even, oh, 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 oh. We're so powerful, guys. We're such powerful beings. That's all I want to say about that. But no, and I didn't mean to pick on anybody. I hope that kind of like clears it up because I feel very connected to that because I'm always cracking jokes. I'm always like, it's what I do all the time too. So, and I completely know how you feel. Yeah, no, don't pick. No, trust me. Me and Nicole have worked together. Cursed. You just showed up to my channel. Slow down with how much you need to know or think you need to know. So I know. Don't worry about it. We're all here, right? You got tension. No, you don't get it. Nice one. You get them. You guys, that was the bad. That was you. No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? That's my favorite argument of all time. Like the brothers, or the friend. No, you don't. No, you don't, because I said it first. Because I said it first. What? No, but I thought it. I just didn't say it. Those are the best arguments, the nothing arguments, the ones where nobody can prove anything, and everybody's just yelling ego back and forth, yelling what they want it to be true. No, and that's what I mean. Curse, like I said, I just think it's you're just tense. You're connected to something. Nicole, all Nicole said was, thanks for being funny. Or she, I'm funny. Which I appreciate that. That's just a compliment. And she probably heard it within the way I was joking about how it's so silly and it's so goofy. It's ironic, right? It's irony. Ironies can be funny, right? But like I said, what are we gonna do, right? We got so many serious people out there saying the truth and what it is, and then what is it? I mean, how much is it working? Sometimes the best way to say it is without words. You guys know that kind of stuff, right? I just like to blab, so I use all the words, and that's why I try to make it. It's all ironic. This whole place is ironic. This whole place is hilarious. If you look at it from the perspective of any level of creator being beyond this planet that could potentially create this place, and you created, what if you had good intentions for this place, right? But you knew that, like children, you don't want to influence them too much. You kind of got to let them grow up and do their own thing, right? Free will, introduce free will. I can't touch it, right? Like, do you know how much they're shaking their heads right now, looking at the direction we went? Like, you know what I mean? It's like kids like banging their head on the wall, and then they busted it, so they're crying. So you freak out. Oh my God, what happened? And then you go over there, and you go like, and dad shows up or grandpa's comes in and goes, "That's what you get for banging your head on the wall. What did you think was gonna happen? How many times are you gonna keep banging your head on the wall until you realize you should probably stop?" And how is that not a mirror into how many people do all the time? But no, you know what I mean? It's all learning to be in control of your state of beings, your emotion, your energy means that you can choose to see things from an angle, and you can choose to see them from any angle that you want at any point in time that you can fathom. Right. And so there's always going to be an angle where this is hilarious. Like this, like the fact that people take themselves seriously of their Gucci bags, you know what I mean? That's hilarious. It's sad, Sure. Right. But again, that's not for me to say, nor you to say, nor for us to judge, because that's that being's chosen incarnation. And I am not one to say what they should be doing or what they shouldn't be doing. I feel like it's unfortunate that more people aren't more awake. Uh, I agree, with that notion that people are distracted by a lot of meaningless things, you know, um, and because of it, humanity's suffered for a long time. But I don't think that's the driving force. The reason why humanity's been where it's at is because there's been people in powers that have set this up. So sure, I agree with you're the ones we've been waiting for. We're the ones that are going to do it. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how this happened, you know? And then if this is just one big giant punishment for the being that did it and did it wrong. And I mean, I'm out. I can't sit here. I've already talked with Spirit on all of these things, all of them. That's why I'm on the show. I'm doing all of the seeking and research and asking of the questions for literally all of us, right? I've done it for every human on this planet that could ever be or ever was or ever, and probably not every, because again, that's a lot. I'm not trying to be realistic here, but I know the questions to ask and I've already asked them all. And it just circles right back into the practical, the plain, the rational, you know what I mean? It's a circle. And the only way you get off the circle is when you realize that you're the one you're choosing to be on the circle. Are you being triggered or are you what? What is your belief structure? And therefore, what do you believe? And how do you, right? And when you remove belief or the need for belief, that's how you start to pierce into all the other stuff. And that's a whole nother realm of things that they're not even concerned with what's going on. Human shit, nothing. They barely even notice. You know what I mean? We ain't got problems down. You think we got problems down here? Shoot. Yeah, paper or plastic or and it's not like we don't. I'm not saying, right? But again, now okay, it's your perspective. There's beings up there, they got universal problems, right? They got this and that. And when you think about this place, this is a universal problem. So imagine the level of what everybody's doing and what's been trying to go on and how much has gone into this. And so the reason it's funny to me is because I look at all of that and I go, and you guys still haven't figured it out, right? Like you guys have really been over it, right? I'm not happy about it, but it's hilarious, So I love that's why I feel we all need to talk more. That's what people need to stop. Like the lady who died, the Passion of the Christ crucifix scene. What do you think it was? It was a crucifixion scene, and she had a heart attack in the movie theater when the movie came out. So Mel Gibson killed her. I'm kidding. Jeez, And it's just like, you didn't expect, what did you think it was? You thought you were going to watch this movie about how Jesus was the greatest being, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, the world was going to be saved. Spoiler alert. How long ago was he here? And this is where we're at now. So again, are you living in heaven with him in your mind, or are you here now? Somebody says he got crucified and you're still figuring it out. Like you got surprised by that. You got surprised. You wasn't expecting that, was it? I'm sorry. Now I'm joking, right? And this is a serious thing. She actually passed away, but I don't see it as, loss, right? Now, sure, it causes, heartache for the families and, things like this. But when we look at life, like broader, like she's just on to the next thing, man. I think that's epic almost. That's like an epic way to go out, right? Like how do you want to go out? I'm going to go out, I'm going to be religious my whole life, and then I'm going to go out dying and I'm going to watch the scene where everything I've known my whole life, 78 years my life, whatever, and I'm going to finally see it, and then it's going to make me go like that's almost like genius planning by that being, like, so I just, and it's not light or dark, it's until you see past the polarity, you can't say that you've mastered either one. And that's not about master or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? If you can't step back and you're still in the race and you're still fighting for something, this is why I stopped fighting, right? But I'm saying we're in a fight. It's a bet, but I don't want to fight, right? Why would I want to fight? That's not what I want to spend my time here doing, but we're doing it anyways. I'm doing it anyway. I have to be, you know? So there's a flow and there's a natural flow versus the forced flow based on what everybody says. So think of it this way. If we have an organic universe, planet, and then you're like, we got to change something in there. And you're like, but what do we change? Because we let it be organic. So how do we know if how we change it is going to affect it? In what way? Because it's been going organically this whole time. So now we got to go in there and affect organic, free will thought thinker people, and we have to have a plan that's going to work, but we don't know what's going to like, you know, it's like they know because they can predict out further than we can. They can see more, you know, but it's like there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more to this, you know, that even I don't know all of it. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to know all of it, you know. But no, I love you guys, and I just want you guys to get along. So, and again, I think it's just out of context. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't think either one of you is right or wrong, right? You know what I mean? Like Curse, you nailed it on the sincerity, and Nicole, thank you for keeping the laughter alive. You know. And yeah, me and Nicole have worked together specifically for a couple years. So, yeah. Yeah, and the humor too. I mean, like nobody's gonna want to. Like I said, if we just got on here and we're like, "This is the truth," and I mean, we already got Alex Jones. We already got Alex Jones. You want to watch him? Go ahead, watch Alex. You know what I mean? He's. Even I can't watch him anymore. Like, I love him, but I don't have the time. I don't. That guy's gonna have a heart attack in 2 seconds. Like he needs to realize he needs to relax. That's the perfect example of like this example. You know what I mean? This is Alex Jones, right? Like we know you're right, bro. Like we know, but like again, he's trying to convince everyone. Trust me, I wish I could too, you know, but he's got to calm down for his own health's sake. You know what I'm saying? It's like yell and yell and yell. Yeah, listen, you're only going to be able to wake up as many people as you're going to be able to wake up. That's just the way that it works. I hate to break it to you, you know, and sure, yeah, you know, if you don't say anything, you're not going to get anywhere, right? And if you yell louder, you get a little further, you know, but at some point, you got to take care of yourself, man. You got to, you know, that's why George Carlin had a heart attack. I think he passed from a heart attack too, right? Watch his stuff. He was talking smack too, 24/7 all the time, right? And it's because they're getting so upset with the way the things are going. And all I can say to that is that you need to develop anybody in that place needs to develop their connections more. You need to go beyond what you still think you've already known or what you've gotten to, right? Because it keeps going. It's not like we're just one soul family and one ancestor, a couple here, a couple there, and then that's it. Like, no, it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, right? Dimensions and then densities and densities and densities and densities and densities, that's on and on and on. So it's there's so much more, you know, and there's always that connection to the spark, and the spark will tell you. You don't need other beings. You don't need this. You don't need that. You need the spark connection. You know, and you know, because you know it happens. You know, it makes sense. You know, you sort of plateau. People get on the path and they find out their ancestry. Oh, I'm this being or that being, or I have, you know, this or that, and then they just stay there. Like, oh, I'm from Pleiades, and you know, maybe Arcturus, and you know, whatever, my connection. And then they just sit around and play around with those guys, you know, and a lot of times people don't ask the questions to the higher beings too, or, you know, so it keeps going. And there's a lot more at stake with changing. Now, I'm not saying I agree necessarily. Like I don't mean believe, but I mean agree, right? But that's because I don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. All I can say is that when I connect to what's going on, why is it going on, why is it still going on, all that stuff, is there is an answer, and there's a comfort, and there is a harmony, and there is something good about that. So okay, I'm gonna stop living. I said I wasn't gonna do 3 hours, and I did 3 hours right now. That's how much I need to blab. But I appreciate you guys. No, it's really cool, because again, we need all of us here, you know. Yeah. What ID 10 tests? I don't know what those are. Yeah, no, it's okay. Again, like, this is the whole point I'm making, is like, we've all been there. We all know it, and you're sharing your heart. And that's the number one thing. I don't care what you got to say, right? As long as we, get along and nobody starts fighting, you know what I mean? Like it makes sense what you're saying from a perspective. And I've talked about this on the show before. Angles. Everything has an angle, and the angles usually neglect, right? Because it's an angle. How wide is the angle? And as long as it's an angle, it's not a circle. So what are you ignoring to prove your point, or to prove your belief system, right? There's an angle for everything. And I think finding the humor is the best thing we can do. Number one, it's like the idea, once this all comes out and a lot of people find out a lot of truth and stuff, a lot of people are going to be brought to tears. People are going to be mad. People are going to be furious. I'm just going to be like, I mean, hey, I've been saying, but I'm not going to. It's one thing. It's like life. Like, it's like I say about living peacefully and living in balance. People talk about balance all the time, but no, everybody's looking for excitement and entertainment constantly. Let's say you're balanced and you're either bored or you're trying to find entertainment. It's just like there's all of that, because people, we want to do stuff in life, we want to experience this, we want to experience that, and that's the crazy chaos stuff, because people are going out to just for something. They don't know what they're going for, but they want to feel something and be entertained, and then people are really missing the silence is golden, the not having to fight with these polarized beings and star anything. I don't care, beings from anywhere, like. And if Earth is a crash course in learning, well, what have I learned on Earth? Are you sure I was supposed to learn from this place? I think this is the place that I should be learning from, because I don't trust nobody. Nobody. I barely trust myself. If I wasn't myself, I probably wouldn't trust myself. It's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what the hell's going on either, just like anybody else does. But I do know, right? So how do we explain that to everybody? Got me. Right? It's the whole concept. Like, yeah, I want to fix this Earth too, and have, but I don't want to be the one to fix it. You know how much work that's going to take? Holy moly. That's why we need all of us working together. Otherwise, and again, it's just separation. It's you got to be able to tell when you're in unity with something, or an idea, or a person, or a place, or a thing, and when it's still something that bothers you. And right, like, this is all of this stuff. That's why we talk about it. That's why this. So what's the answer? Don't worry about it. Okay? Stop worrying about it. Right? The world is not lacking in people who don't care about the bad things in the world. There's tons of people who care about the refugees anywhere and everywhere, about babies not getting health care, you know what I mean, about doggies on the commercial, that we need the pound doggies, or the homeless animals that make people cry. Like, we care. We got enough caring in the world. Right. So that's where the trap of the your energy and your emotions, right, are, powerful. This is not the trap, but like you got to watch your emotions, right? Because they are powerful. You have to choose them. You have to be a conscious creator of your creations, and that includes the way you feel and the way you vibrate and the thoughts you have and the thing. It's not just what you do as in the vessel, it's what you're not doing in just the vessel that translates into the vessel. And so the alignment is between your vessel and their other higher senses, aspects, higher selves, whatever, right? And so the flow isn't something that, it's the same for, that's why it's not the same for everybody else. You have to get into the flow of your higher aspects, and you have to do it as a being, as a human incarnated. You have to get over your shit, and you got to do it, right? And that's tough. That can be tough for people to do, and that's when we feel out of flow, when we're out of balance, right? Why? Why? How does it even make sense? Why would we ever feel out of balance if every day I just wake up and I'm just right here? It's because this is your connection. You're losing your connection because you're getting too involved in the polarity, and you're going mad, or you're going sad victim, or you're going right. And it doesn't mean you can't be those things. But if you lose your center, then what are you going to do? And that's what everybody's lost. And that's why I keep saying it. Everybody's trying to figure out too much shit. And they need to stop trying to figure it all out and realize that maybe you already know enough. Maybe you do. Maybe. Right? Tell this. Put this on college board. Maybe you already know enough. Everybody's going to turn around. Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't want to go here anyways. That sounds great. I like this college. So does that mean I graduate? Do I get a degree? Are we having a ceremony? I don't know. I know how to drive a car to get here. I think I'm good, Grab some chips along the way, some water. Man, I mean, I'm killing it as far as when I think about, am I alive? Are we living? Man, I'm killing it. I don't know about you guys. I'm alive every day. Guess what? I'm gonna wake up in the morning and be alive again. I won again. It's silly, man. This place is silly as hell. But if you look at it from your human perspective, it's not going to be as funny. Yeah. No, I got y'all. Okay, was that it for comments? I love you guys. This is probably the longest video I've done in a while. Have I done a 4-hour one? I don't think I've gotten up to 4. I think 3's. This might be the new record. 306. So and we're stopping on the Offspring. So which one was this? Is it Smash? Yeah, Smash is my favorite song by them. One of my favorites. All right, guys, love yous. Thanks for coming, and I'm gonna really go this time because I'm really hungry. Appreciate you, and stay high vibe. Mwah.